I'ma taste you cause you look tasty. Don't keep me waiting up. And oh, stop playing. Oh, stop playing. When you walk through time stuff, and me, you keep on. And oh, stop playing. Oh, stop playing.
Girl, you always playing with it. Always talking about it. So
What's good, y'all? What's good? Sorry for the CP time. We got a mean crew up in the building tonight. It's crazy up in here. Let me get these bombs popping because I'm feeling a little crazy. We got some education people. We got some homeschoolers. And we got the great Majesty in the building. Let me go. I'm going to go around real quick and introduce everybody. And we're going to get this party started. Sorry for the lateness. It's 7:53. CP time is not their fault. It's my fault because difficulties with this stuff. But we here. First, let me introduce. Hold on, give me a second. Let me get this right. I want y'all to see this man right here. This man right here is the newest host of the Raw Report. Do me a favor, everybody, and put your hands together for my main man, Transformers own Levon Whitaker, aka Majesty.
Oh, this feels so good.
Is in the building.
Oh, it feels so good.
He's here. He's here.
Feels so good.
The CP time again is definitely my fault. Now from here we're gonna go to. I don't know if y'all know. I think this young lady. Matter of fact, hold on. Give me a second. Let me get some things together. This next young lady is not a stranger. She's been here a whole bunch of times, and she talked her talk and she did her thing. Do me a favor, everybody, and give it up for Miss Ife. Miss Ife is in the building. She's a as you can see under her name, it says Ife Education Advocate. She's for the people. Last but not least, she's the only person that I know that homeschools, and it's a good thing. I want to know about it tonight. Give it up, y'all, for Miss Danae and Bennett in the building. Miss Danae is in the building. She's here. She's here.
Welcome.
She's here. Let me put a thing on her name real quick, and I don't want to. Let me see. Simply Unique, Mr. Danae Bennett is in the building. Now, I don't even know where to start with this. Because there's so much going on. Let's Miss Ife says she had a disclaimer first, so we're gonna let her get her disclaimer out the way, and then
we can proceed.
Miss Ife, the stage is yours.
Okay.
Oh, before you say that, John Doe is in the building. John Doe, that's all you need to know. John Doe is in the building. Miss Ife, your disclaimer whenever you're ready.
So first, I would like to start us off because I know when you asked me to come up here to speak, I know that we're going to be touching on the New Haven public school system. And I want to make sure that all the ones that are tuning in tonight, when you run back and tell, because of course that's what you Negroes do. When you go back and tell and you give the reports of the Raw Report, please do me the favor and make sure that what you're saying or what you're repeating is accurate.
Accuracy. Yo, she came out the gate swinging. She came out. Now, Ife, question.
Sure.
I saw you on TV the other night. You didn't look happy.
You know what? Everybody said they saw me. I didn't even know I was up there.
Now, make sure you stay lined up with that microphone because I know how you. I've heard you. No, hold on. Let me right there. You're good. Right there.
All right.
Okay. You looked unhappy. Is there a reason why you looked unhappy? Because it's how many schools are closing?
4.
4 are closing. I thought it was 3.
4. It was brought to my attention. I said 3, but then it was brought to my attention. It was 4. So I believe it's Riverside, New Horizon, New Lights,
Creed,
and Creed.
Don't forget the Creed.
Don't forget the Creed. Now, you have kids in the public school system, right?
I have one in the New Haven public school system, and I have another one in a private school.
Oh, okay? That's yeah. I want to do the private school thing so bad. I want to do the.
Go right ahead.
For it.
Go for it. This is about education tonight.
Yes, go for it.
Now, Danae,
Yes, yes.
you homeschool.
Yes, absolutely.
Can you give us a little bit on how what that entails and the cost and
Okay. Well, homeschooling itself, I mean, it's different for everybody. My platform and how I do it may not work for you, but it works for us. It's basically giving our children the freedom of kind of thinking for themselves, for starters. Secondly, it gives them the opportunity to grow, not within a box or pretty much. I personally wanted my kids to go to a private school, and we did not have the means to do so. And with that being said, I found that the New Haven public school system was not really benefiting us. So I decided to bring them home, and it's pretty. You can use any resources. Like we use Everyday Living right now for schooling, and it's going through a process of unschooling. We're trying to get out of the thought process. So you got to come into a classroom, like just rules. We kind of moved away from the structure of having to do things within a time frame. And if you don't do it, you're losing.
right?
We did away with grading and stuff along those lines. So it's just financially is what you put into it. It's not required a lot of money. There's so many resources out here, from YouTube to right in your own backyard. New Haven itself has a lot of historical culture information. You have the library, Stetson Library. You have the library downtown. You have Yale Library. There's so many things that we have access to that we don't utilize because we're constantly either in school or we just not aware of it because we don't look for it. And just because I'm for homeschooling doesn't mean I'm anti-public school. It's just that public school didn't work for me, my family, and my children. I'm raising entrepreneurs, children who enjoy conversation and dialogue, and that was something that they were not allowed to have or do inside the New Haven public school system. They were pretty much limited, and when they were growing out of the curriculum too fast, they deemed them and began to label them. So I love it. I enjoy it. My kids love it a lot. You know, the stresses of having to come home and do homework after spending a significant amount of time in school didn't make sense to them. It didn't make sense to me either. You know, you're teaching my kids how to bring work home with them. When we teach our family, leave that at the door in some cases, you know. So it's like I began to see the conditioning that was taking place for my children in the public school system. So it's not expensive. It's what you put in it. It costs time, which is the most expensive thing that we have. Other than that, is if you're willing. And if you have the patience, and if I'm going to be great to anyone, let me start with my family.
No doubt. That's what's up. Nash, I see you over there. You're rubbing your chin. You're rubbing the cream. You're rubbing the salt and pepper beard. What's good?
You know, Rob. First of all, you know, I just wanna thank everyone for welcoming our guest and welcoming me as the new host of the Road Report, because we wanna rebuild this better, stronger. We wanna articulate ourselves in things that's going on in the community around us, and we need to stay woke. I want my people to stay woke because we are in the matrix, and I want people to know what's going on around them, where it starts in our neighborhoods, the aldermans, the people to hold accountable, the people that's responsible for perhaps just getting a speed bump tomorrow in your neighborhood. So, you know, for me to be a part of the War Report, I thank you, Rob, for even, you know, having me aboard. This is a big platform that I want to use for so many different levels of education. I don't just want it to be about raunchiness. I don't want it to be about sex. I don't want it to be just about relationships. I want this to be about life. I want this to be eye-openers for people.
Yes.
And at the same token, I want it to be humorous. I want it to be educational. And I want it to be enlightening. So, once again, I just want to thank everybody for having me here.
No doubt.
I'm happy to be here. I have a lot going on in my life. So, for me to put everything to the side to be here for this platform, it's a privilege and an honor for me.
Yes.
So,
my
thank
goodness.
everyone. I just wanted to articulate that. So, in that note, tonight's topic is so touching and how can I put it? It's real sensitive for a lot of people. This is a touchy subject right here because, you know, a lot of our kids are in the New Haven public school system, and you know, the truth be told, a lot of people are not. How should I put it? A lot of people are not responsible and financially able to, or wasn't smart enough early in their life to be able to put their kids through private schooling or much less homeschooling. So I'm speaking for the percentage that might type in and go, well, how can we do that if we gotta work? How
Right.
can I stay home and educate my kids all day if I got to pay the bills and we won't have no lights to do it? And I don't have help. What about me? I don't have a husband or I don't have a wife, because you got the fathers out there that might be single fathers. So, so I'm speaking on a platform for the people that might judge, because that's what we do as black folk. We do that excellently. We pray and we judge. Those are the two things that we will do.
And we
So
don't
we
make
pray and we
Classical
judge.
conditioning.
So
You're bringing up those
Yes.
sociological terms. I
For
like
real.
it.
So we're conditioned to,
into the box and-
send our kids to school, hope that they get what they need, and hope that the teachers teach them. Because some things they bring home, I'm not able to even articulate or explain to them. I'll be like,
That's
"What?
true.
You didn't? The teacher didn't teach you this?" So tonight is a sensitive subject. I'm glad you ladies are here, because a lot of women are scared. A lot of men are scared. People are comfortable in their positions, and they don't want to jeopardize their positions for the truth, for facts. So I'm glad you ladies are here, because we got a lot of things to talk about tonight. So with that being said,
I want to ask the revolutionist something. Miss Ife,
Learn.
what do you feel? How do you feel that meeting went the other night? Was it because it seemed like it was a lot of mumbo jumbo, and the news didn't really give it that much coverage? Gave maybe 30 or 40 seconds.
you know what they do.
And
So there's a live feed that's coming in from the NHPS advocates. They actually recorded live, and they actually posted, and I do have it on the CWI Parent Team page. So if someone wants to take a moment and actually look at and hear everything that was going on that night, they're more than welcome to do that. Basically, I summed it up when I end. What I had to say that evening was, there's too much focus on politics and not enough focus on education. That's the bottom line. Unfortunately, this our school system, and I'm not just going to point the finger on NHPS. I'm just going to say across the board, the system was never designed for us. And when I mean by us, I mean by African American. It was never designed. It was we were never supposed to be educated whatsoever. Okay, that's the bottom line. And so because of that, the system was it was another form of slavery. This system is to, like we hear all the time, from the school to the pipelines. That's just basically what it is. It's, you just follow the money.
Yes.
Follow the money.
ooh, follow the money.
Follow the
Yes.
money. That's what you do. You
So-
follow the money.
So are they $25 million in the hole? That's why schools are closing?
At this particular time, the last time I've heard about the deficit, it is somewhere, it went from 6 to 7 million to 13 million. So the number changes, but they're projecting for a $19 million deficit coming for the school year 2018-2019.
So my whole thing is, if they close the 4 schools that's aforementioned, these kids get broken down and get placed into other schools. So we just overpopulate classrooms that's already overpopulated. Is this what you're getting at?
Again, I'm going to make sure that what I say, I'm repeating what I heard.
Yes.
At the
Wait.
Board of Ed
Before you
meeting.
say it, drop bombs. Drop bombs. We need another disclaimer real quick. We need another disclaimer. Hold on. First of all, in her behalf, in her defense, like she said, everybody that's going to go tell tomorrow and go tell people to go, rerun the Raw Report, make sure you tell it like it really is. Tell the truth.
Press
This young
play,
lady is here. She's
rewind.
speaking facts. Make
Right?
sure you tell it like it really is. That's all she's asking for.
That's
Don't
all I'm
slanderize
asking.
her name.
Yeah, please don't lie on me.
With lies
Yeah, just
and propaganda.
If you're gonna tell on me, please, I just want you to tell on me with the truth.
That's it.
I don't mind.
Or may I say, or just allow yourself to open up to receive the education that you're about to get. This is something that could be beneficial to you and your family. It's not about throwing stones. It's about bringing truth to you. And sometimes truth is a hard pill to swallow, especially when you're affected by it directly and it causes you to think outside of yourself. So just if you can put yourself in a position, like put your receptors on versus your deflectors, I think it can carry much more weight than just running telling that.
That's what's up. I agree.
I mean, simply said.
Running telling that.
Listen, no, but it's serious know, I'm not really trying to be a jerk about things. I'm trying to be nice, right? I'm trying to keep my educational hat on, so use my words wisely, right? My vocabulary. What happens is people don't understand. You know, I've seen different ones. You know, and I'm mentioning this gentleman named Diamond. I've seen where Diamond has post things about the sky, and before you know it, it done got back to someone at the board that he's saying something totally different than what he said. And what people don't understand is you're so quick to go run back and tell. My grandmother always said, the dog that brings a bone is a dog that took a bone. You know?
Yes.
And so what these people don't seem to understand is just because you running back and telling, these people not keeping your name quiet. They're quick to say, oh, you know, so and so came here and told me that they seen what you wrote on Facebook. And I'm like, what? That has nothing to do with the New Haven Public School, you know. And so I just want people to understand that I am true to what I say and do in this district. I have never been afraid of anybody in this district, because at the end of the day, I do represent that motto that says kids first.
Yes.
I do advocate for kids. I'm not like some of these jokers inside the schools that said they got these kids back, and then when it comes down to standing on the front line, they're nowhere to be found. You know, I have lost a job because I advocate. I have been told in a state, you know, because there's a state case against the New Haven Board of Education by me, okay, about this discrimination of disability. So this is about what I'm going to speak on, what I have done against this district. And I noticed that people, when they came to represent New Haven, you know, it was, I was told not to hire her, you know, and this is some coming from some of the staff at Hill House. So I'm saying this because this is my business that I can speak of. And again, people don't realize you out there talking and don't realize that your name is being called. And I just think that they're cowards. You know, you got a lot of hot air. You got a lot of big mouths. You out there saying what you do for the kids, but there's nobody standing up like they should be standing up. This is a district of, now the number is 21,500 students. You tell me why we go to a board of ed and we only have maybe 50 people, not even 100 people.
What you mean,
And
parents?
Parents, caregivers. You hear the number 21,500? When it comes down to, you know, these cuts that they're doing, you know, there's a lot of pink slip coming out come June 30th. They're cutting.
People are getting fired?
There's a lot of people letting go. There's a blue sheet. Every board of ed meeting, you'll find a blue sheet. On that blue sheet, you will see who is saying goodbye, who's retiring, who's resigning, and who's being let go.
Now, if they have a problem, if they have a deficit like that, how come they were able to hire a new superintendent of schools? And I'm sure she's six figures, right?
Because they got a budget for a superintendent. That's there. That's written.
Okay.
Somebody got to be the superintendent. So that's a budget that's going to be there, whether whoever's going to take
But
that title. Everybody have a superintendent.
Does it make sense to be six figure?
I mean,
Yeah.
that's to the highest level of.
That's a huge
Yeah.
responsibility.
Doctorates
The
and
last
all that
time
to
I
get
looked
there.
at the number, rounding up with, you know, car and oil change and
Why wouldn't a
living
superintendent get six
arrangement.
figure and a principal get six figure?
Nah,
that's
she
true.
just said she get a city car.
I didn't say city car. I said a car. It's a contract. You know, you can negotiate whatever in that contract. Whether if there's a superintendent that's say for instance, a superintendent came from Texas, they put it in a contract where they're actually putting up living arrangement. They find
For the
housing.
years that they're there.
You know, I mean, whatever. If they wanted what you call it, drivers, if they wanted whatever it is, it could be factored in, you know.
It's negotiable.
But it's negotiable. It's up to the board, what the board feel like they want to negotiate. You know, and last time I checked, it was $250,000
For the superintendent?
for a superintendent.
Yeah, let me tell you something. It's all about numbers, bro.
Superintendent get more than the mayor.
Everything is about numbers. Dan, the superintendent makes more than the
mayor?
mayor?
Yeah.
Dang, they get
Holy cathedral, Batman.
Yo,
Are you
250?
What? What? Holy smokes.
That's why the accountability is so high. That's why
Right.
the expectation is so high, because if we're
Okay.
taking these dollars and we're paying you such a significant amount of
So
money,
Mr.
we
Mayor
definitely
was
need
getting it, huh?
to get some.
Now, Janae, you said your homeschooling is it makes more sense for you financially. Now, does somebody have to be there with the kids all day?
Well, it's not so much make more sense for me financially, just for the self-esteem for my children. Just long term, it makes a lot of sense for me, because it became a time where right now the government offers a forgiveness program for those who go to teach in underprivileged or underserviced communities. So at this time, it was a fluctuation of people who are disconnected from my community coming in to fix my children. And what I mean by that, if I was to go to Africa or any other country, when I go amongst the people, I come in there, I take on their garb, I learn their language, and I live amongst the people. I don't come into that place and say, oh, let me fix these children. So we had a lot of people who were coming into the community or into the school system feeling like they're dealing with broken children. Granted, there is some brokenness there. I'm not saying that there's not issues that are going on, but you're looking to fix something that you don't understand. And what I mean by that, you're coming from, and I have nothing against people who have a passion for teaching. This is nothing against anyone like that, but those who are coming from towns that cannot identify with my children, who's just looking to get their loans forgiven. You're showing up for just that opportunity alone. You don't really take in consideration my child and it's his or hers totality. So I was finding a lot of phone calls home. I was finding even my children being lied on, and it was becoming too much for me. And it's like, okay, I'm coming up here for all the wrong reasons. So it was easier for me to say, let me just try to get them in schools that's right across the street, where their kids are reading in kindergarten on our 5th grade levels. Their kids are outside, making sure that they're getting outside fresh air every hour on an hour, because they have to walk to the next classroom, which is in another building, on purpose. Kids are able to have dialogue, meaning their tables are round, and they're talking. They're encouraged to speak their minds. So it was long term for me. I mean, kids who had dishes that they eat from, a la carte, picking their fruit and vegetables. I went to one school. The kids were outside learning about indigenous people, not Chinese, not Indians, indigenous people. And they're outside, they're taking on the culture of smoking salmon outside, building a teepee and living amongst it, making it a whole month about it. So when I got to see it was something different, and my kids took to that more than the New Haven public school system, where it's shut up, be quiet, walk in the line, don't
Wait,
speak.
what's that? That's the Amistad. That's the charter school programs everybody talking about that I'm hearing about? It's
the
like
ones that
jail. It's like I'm hearing
Well-
it's like Rikers Island up
Well,
in there, man.
That's
Up
where,
in Amistad. We're gonna talk about that. I got some kids that be coming to me. They be
See,
telling me it's like Rikers Island up
I
in
have
there.
grandchildren that's in Amistad.
That was one of my reasons, because I was going into a high school one day. My daughter, she attended a high school here in New Haven, and as I was taking off the stuff and they checking my bags, and I'm going through the the alarm system. In that moment, it's like the whole thing turned into a jail for me.
Wow.
I mean, we've all visited someone in jail. Then I began to pay attention. There are no more guidance counselors. We have people patrolling it, like police officers or our COs. So even down to the coloring on the walls are very similar to prison. Then when they took out the uniforms, everybody was happy about it, but I wasn't one of those parents. Yes, it does make my life easier, but the only thing you have the freedom to change is your hair and your sneakers. Now, if you're going to do uniform, the Catholic schools, when they do a uniform, you are in uniform from head to toe, even down to your shoes and socks.
Nobody's different.
But when you go to the prison system, they can have their hair done a different way, and their sneakers can be changed. But them khakis and that top, that's very similar to what's in the school. So they were preparing and conditioning my kids to be comfortable in the prison system, and I wasn't comfortable with that at all.
Yeah, you know what, man?
And we don't look at it like that. They present it to us on a platter as if it's easier.
Let me tell you
Granted,
something.
it is, but
Yo, she's absolutely right. Just as an advocate for the prison system, because I heard a lot of stories.
Oh, they eat with a spork. They eat with the spork. They eat with the spork. You ain't getting no
Everything-
fork or spoon.
Everything, all the stories that I hear are similar to what they got to go through in there. They got to walk on a certain side of a line, on a
Absolutely.
certain side of a hallway.
Absolutely.
Or
At
you-
school.
At school. Or you will be infracted.
Yes.
It's a point system. You
Yes.
can't go to the
That's
bathroom but
homicide.
once, twice a day.
Yes.
You can't speak in the bathroom. If you just say, yo, what's good, Ty? You getting infracted. You might get suspended.
Yes.
You can't, you can't interact. You can't just be a normal human being in an educational setting, sir.
And
But and when you just said, but you brought your kids to a whole nother setup that was totally opposite of what they're dictating of what education's supposed to be for our children.
But you know, the flip side of this, and I know some parents they're not gonna like what I'm about to say, but it's real. The reason why we have a system the way that we have is because of the parents. We don't hold anybody accountable. We don't come together enough, or you know, we don't come together. We're not proactive. We reactive.
yes.
Okay. People don't start.
Drop a bomb on that, please. We got to repeat that. Run that back. Sometimes words go over people's heads, and you got to rewind stuff.
We are not proactive. We are reactive.
Amen.
Yes.
Okay. And what I mean by that is a lot of times we, and you notice that I'm saying we, you know, I don't exclude myself from that. I include myself. And, you know, we do not start doing things until it's knocking at our front door.
After the fact.
When it is happening to our own children, that is when it's like directly, you know, and what we need to be looking at is, you know, these behaviors, these different things. You know, I remember on Facebook hearing someone, you know, there was different, you know, topics about how the kids from UStat, you know, why are they focusing more on those kids and not, or the kids that have behaviors instead of the kids that are, you know, doing what they're supposed to be doing, you know, into the classroom. And the reason of it is again, you got to follow the money, right? Everything that this system, when it comes down to our school system, whether it's a magnet program, is tied to money. Whether it's a Title I program, is tied to money. Everything is tied to money.
About numbers.
You know,
It's about numbers.
right. You
It's
know,
about numbers,
and
man.
if you a good grant writer, right, and you can say, if you can conjure up something about this plate, you know, how useful this plate can be, you know, teaching a child who may not even know what a dish is and teaching them a difference between a dish and a plate, then you can create a grant for that.
Absolutely.
Right. And you can jazz it up to kids who's living in poverty that would never know the difference between the words dish and plate.
Wow.
I need to know the
Yes.
people that write the grants.
Grants.
'Cause I got some ideas, but you know, but you're absolutely right. I've
You
heard
got to
it,
show a
I've seen
need.
it.
If you could show a need, it's like the money is there.
Exactly. And the thing is, what people not understanding is, you know, and parents, I get it. Our reality is we have to work, right? That's the reality. The white men have set it up where, guess what? We have to work, and we may even have to work, you know, 2 jobs or long hours, right? But how, you know, just like we can text on the phone, we can email a teacher. We could find out what's going on with our child in that school. We can ask our children, you know, we can just call up and say, hey, how was your day? What is happening? And 9 out of 10, our kids will begin to tell us, you know, what their day look like. And then we may hear about certain behaviors and so forth. And then, you know, again, being proactive and calling that teacher and say, hey, you know, I understand that little Johnny was, he said that this type of behavior happened. Is everything okay? Is there a social worker in the building? Some schools don't even have social workers.
don't. Or they're
Some
never
schools don't even
available.
have counselors.
I don't even see it anymore.
Some school, listen, some school, especially when it comes down to high school, kids who needs to start getting their credits to make sure that they're on track to graduate don't have counselors. Or if the counselor's there, and say for instance you have a class of 250 students, a senior class, right? You got 2 counselors, divide that up.
for 200
There's
or
no
something.
way.
I don't even see counselors anymore.
I had
Do they
that.
have guidance?
I
officers and
I had that
counselors?
issue with my
But
daughter.
see, guess what? Ask the parent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have they even had a conversation with their kid's counselor?
Wait, but you know what? I want to revert to you for a second, Nay. How a lot of people I know they probably interested in wondering how are you able to homeschool? How are you able to do this?
Well, I've been. I have a great support system. I will say that. I have my mom who lives up the street. I have an auntie who's willing and available, and I have a team of women.
You have a
that
village.
support me. I have a village too, and if what I don't know, I'm not afraid to ask for help. That pride is gone a long time ago. I'm for a future for my kids. Me and my husband, we decided if you decide to work outside of the home, one of us is staying home, and we're going to start a business, and that's a part of our homeschool curriculum. It's required for all my students, which are my children, to own a business. It's required.
On that note, what she going right there is what I live in, and that's why I'm teaching my kids entrepreneurism. I don't even want them to go to school. Be honest with you, I don't say it to them. You see what I'm saying? Because we've been so brainwashed and so programmed to go to school, get your degree, get this education, and get in debt for the rest of your life.
That's true.
Before you even understand it, yeah.
And get this piece of paper that they say is structured enough to run somebody else's corporation sufficiently, and hope that they keep you on board for 20 to 30 years for you to be able to qualify to receive a pension.
Right.
That's what the old school way of teaching college education and getting a job and getting married and having a house with.
Can
a
you
white picket
revert
fence.
that back to slavery?
It's
Just think about what you just line that up.
You're absolutely
conditioning,
right.
right?
You're
Classical
absolutely right. See,
conditioning.
that's why I want my people to get out the matrix. That's why I want to use this platform
That-
to wake my people up. I want to shake people.
That's what I did with my children. They didn't like it at first. And I'm not going to say I liked it at first. It was just something that was required of me. It took some time. Like somebody, oh, you with your kids 24/7. Well, I actually grew to like my kids, to be around them for 24/7. Do I like them all the time? I could keep it 100. So sometimes they get on my nerves because they're human beings and we don't always see eye to eye. It doesn't mean I don't love them. It doesn't mean we can't learn conflict resolution. Like, how can you go be great outside in the community if you can't even be great in the community you were born in? And that's something that we really, really push towards, because if I leave this earth prematurely or whatever the case may be, I need for you guys to be equipped in some shape or form. And if you do end up having to work for someone, you best be preparing to fund your dream. You're getting the money you're making here to prepare yourself for your dream, not for you to work for them all the time. Now, however, there are some people who are great employees, and that's perfectly fine. I have nothing against that, just not mine.
Right.
Now, Ife,
Yes.
the schools that are closing, how are they going to get that right for the kids that have nowhere to go next year?
So I'm gonna be honest with you again. I'm just gonna tell you what was stated in.
Tell it like it is, Eva. Tell it like it is.
In that meeting. So the question came out was, so apparently, there's going to be a date set for those students. Just like the lottery is going to repeat itself, right? The lottery that just already closed for everyone else is going to be open just for these kids. But it's not a guarantee that these students will get into the schools of their choice.
Wow.
Again, it's an unfortunate thing that
Sad.
the purpose, the reason of
Is that
Creed,
on purpose? Like that sounds like some.
the reason why Creed closed. This was the explanation that was given. So about 3 years ago, and this is the time that I can remember, there's always been a question about closing Creed. And it's just been a conversation. And you had, certain parents that were, and staff, and not that many, to be honest with you, not as much as you've seen this past Monday, but it was always someone fighting to keep Creed open. And apparently what they said was the reason why Creed can't.
Spider in front of you.
Hold on, you see it? Is it on her?
Okay.
Oh, there you go, right there. There you go.
God
There you
damn.
go.
Real TV.
That's what I'm talking about.
Somebody, who sent that spider?
Yeah, I got it.
Ife, somebody sent that spider.
I
over
know,
here.
right?
It's
Somebody sent
dead
the
now.
spider.
That's
I got
okay.
it for you.
Somebody sent the spider, yeah.
That's
got it. I
that's
killed it.
But
that's
the village took care of that.
Yeah,
Look.
that's okay.
I'm sorry.
Right? That-
Hold on, let me hit that spider. Let me hit that spider right there.
Sorry.
Hold up.
Sorry,
Congratulations,
distinguishing one of
you
God's
played
creatures.
yourself.
Let me hit that spider off. Now you said the Creed.
So the reason why Creed, they're saying that they're closing Creed is because they needed 25% of the students in Creed to be white.
Holy
Oh, so they didn't meet the quota for
cathedral
the.
back,
They didn't meet the
man.
quota for the grant funding that
For
will
the
help them
magnet
get the
program.
money.
Exactly.
So with the magnet
For the
program, you need a
magnet
certain amount
program,
of.
they need
white
a
people.
certain amount of white students.
Oh, so that's what they meant.
I
They said
love
the-
it. I
mi-
love
no,
it.
Minority.
It was too many.
Too many
Black
minorities and not enough majorities.
Well, that
Well, technically, we are the majority,
We are.
but
If
you
you
know,
will.
I don't want to go there.
But that typically happens with all the, like, for instance, you will find that you will have kids who are of like, what is it, the Head Start program. They will bust the kids in from, like, I guess a program from the suburbs to here because they have to meet that quota for a certain amount of white people to be in the classroom, I guess, for that program at some point. But then when it gets to the kindergarten age, they won't come into our communities anymore.
Exactly, but that's what they call white walling.
Yes.
Which meaning a lot of the suburbs is taking advantage of our
Daycare, so to speak.
yes, our pre-K funding, our programs, and that's sometimes our children
Cannot get a spot.
can actually get into the schools because they're too busy coming over, and they take advantage of those programs. And once they get what they need to get from our pre-K system, then they're going back into the suburbs, to get an education. Once they pass pre-K.
Right, because that saves them
Because
thousands of dollars.
Pre-K
It's-
is the babysitters that everybody
exactly. It's
There
the
you go.
Pre-K is the babysitters
Then I
that
say
everybody
follow the money.
Yo,
Right.
and
that's
you
what
know
I'm-
what's crazy?
Tap into the money.
That's crazy, man. But it's just solidifying everything that we already was assuming, or just
I'm real disappointed that no one, like Ife said, nobody has called in.
no. Oh, they won't call in for this.
Oh, so is it fair?
Yes. Not only is it fair, but you got people that,
They're probably just
like I said,
listening.
a
I'm
lot of
hoping
people,
they're absorbing.
A lot of people have their kids in these public school systems, and they don't. Some people don't want to know the truth.
So is that why the reporter?
Some people don't want to know the truth.
So is that why the reporter said that the kids that are going to be like pretty much refugees at the end of this school year are scared because they don't know what school they end up in? And
Let me tell you how messed up this whole system is. As of tomorrow at Creed, they're going to be AP testing. And then as of Friday, Creed has their prom. Now, what is the worst way to tell a student, that your school is no longer in session? There was so many tears that was going on, and I made a request with the superintendent as well as the chair, who assured me that there would be some intervention, because these children, there needs to be some form of intervention.
Yes.
They need to be someone speaking to them, because this is, everyone that got up, they talked about how, this was their family. This is their family. They established a relationship. Wow. Some of the children were looking forward to actually going to Creed, and for this to be just snatched away. I mean, when I tell you it was like cold, it was really a cold thing, and I get it, right? But the thing is, you made a decision to close all 4 of these schools, but you're only going to walk away after you close down everything $4 million.
saving $4 million.
You're saving, just when you round about an estimate and so forth, it just comes out to be $4 million. Not even enough. Wow. You're still looking at you're still projecting a $19 million deficit for the new school year. So $4 million. I mean,
The money.
then the
can come from
sanction,
somewhere.
it's like when you compare what you're going to be sanctioned versus, what you're actually going to be saving, it just don't really pan out, because at the end of the day, you're really saving, dreams. Mm-hmm. You can't make up these dreams when you have kids who wants to be, a sport,
sport broadcaster or
yeah,
yes,
you know,
dealing with media.
it is sad because again, it was about the politics. It's about the money, you know. And again, my thing was 3 years ago, why didn't you have, you know, this is something that should have been done sooner than later. You don't wait till children invest.
Right.
They put their time in,
Right.
you know, they got their dreams all set up, and then boom, you snatch and you walk away. Why? Because not one of those students on that, you know, those parents or those adults on that board, shall I say, have children that was actually going to be affected by this.
Wow.
So why
Please
should
call
you?
in
Why should you care?
475-238-6492.
Wait.
Voice your opinion, express yourself.
No
That's
doubt.
the wrong.
No, that's the right number.
Oh.
You said who do you said doesn't have kids in this system? The people
I didn't
that's
say
making,
in this system.
I mean,
you
in the
got
New
two-
Haven system.
In that
No,
school.
I said in that particular school.
In that
I just
particular
feel like
school.
if you had children somewhere, if you're really more invested, then you would fight
You
a
would have
little bit
shown up
more.
for the children as a
If your
period.
kid is affected by something, you're going to fight a little bit harder.
Right.
You wouldn't be so easy to fold. So it's easy to say, hey, we had to do this and that's just what it is. Because at the end of the day, you go home at night and you don't have to see these children, you know, you don't have to deal with it.
Somebody just said politics have no feelings.
No feelings.
None
They don't
whatsoever.
That's
care.
a
We
great
are, let me
statement.
tell you something, man. We are guinea pigs. We are sacrificial lambs. Educational wise, food wise, the government is destroying us. Music wise, the music is the reason why you can't get a classroom to just sit still and focus. They won't even. I walked by some of these classes. I was in school one day and I was visiting. I snuck in. I came early. I came to bring some medicine for my son for his eyes or whatever. And I came through and I walked by a classroom and I seen the classroom just doing what they wanted to do. Teacher just sitting there. I don't know if she was indulging in her phone, checking her emails. I don't know what she was doing.
A lot of the
And
teachers
the
are
classroom
showing
was
up
just
right
doing
now,
what they
really.
wanted to do. And I was sitting there like, I you know, see, I'm the type of guy, like, you know what I'm saying? I just can't see an unjust being done and just
say
keep
anything.
walking.
Without
Well, I
saying
feel like
anything.
God gonna hold me. They gonna hold that
Be
against me
accountable.
because he gonna be like, look, I tested you right there and you kept it moving.
Right.
I see, you wasn't supposed to do that. Because they
Right.
say, I once heard a saying, they say, knowledge is something you can't keep unless you give it away. Just think about that for a second. Let that marinate. So as I walked by, I just felt obligated to go, if it was all about the money, why you take this job in the first place? And you should have seen the look on her face. That's all I said. And
Accountability.
I just kept, you should have seen the look on her face.
There's a lack of accountability in
That's
this
exactly
district.
what it is.
Unbelievable.
It is.
It's a lot
You
of
know,
finger
it's-
pointing.
Yeah, of course it is. And then you have a lot of people who's just not invested enough. You know, it's about we used to hear it all the time. You know, they just here for a paycheck. You know, and then now these days, New Haven is the lowest paying district. So now people just they don't really care anymore. And it's like it's a twofold. So let me play devil's advocate real quick, right? A lot of these parents, you know, because the children are raising themselves because again the reality is they have to work, right?
Yes.
They're not checking in, and I'm not saying all, so I don't want anybody becoming defensive, but let's keep it real.
The
Let's talk
majority.
about the truth here.
Yeah.
The majority are not checking in on your kids. Some of these kids, they're raising themselves, they're cutting up, they're causing problem, being disrespectful, and these teachers are like, you know what, hey, I got mine, you trying to get yours.
You
The
don't
hell?
want it?
Right.
So be it.
What the hell am I doing
Yeah,
in here
yeah,
for?
absolutely right.
And so your kid,
right.
the ones that want to learn will learn, and the ones that don't, well, they on their own.
That's
But how could you weed
They
out
become-
the ones that's stopping others from learning? My mother always said to me, the biggest thing to me as a parent is if I get a phone call and they telling me that my child is being disrespectful and disrupting others from learning. She said, I can give a damn if you don't want to learn. But if you stopping other people from learning, I have an issue.
Right.
And that was her biggest issue. So how could you
You have to
decipher
really-
a classroom to where the kids that want it to the kids that just don't have it at home and they blatantly disrespectful. They disrespecting the teacher. They don't have no respect for authority.
Well, they were creating schools. They would take kids who were disruptive and like that. They
But
would
those
create a new
schools-
school.
did you hear that?
And, yeah,
I
and now
named
they're
those
closed.
schools.
So what
They're
they
closed, so
did,
they have
right?
to interact.
Right. So
Well,
what they were
we're
doing.
reforming structure.
But see, and then here's on the flip side of that, right? So this is my specialty. This is when we're gonna start talking into IEPs and 504s, right?
Uh-oh, numbers
lot
and
of-
letters. I love this. FBI, CIA, ATF.
Yo, we're gonna start talking IEPs and
Alphabets,
504s,
alphabets and
whatever
numbers.
she just said.
401ks,
Yes.
So
503s.
IEPs are independent individualized educational plan, which falls underneath the disability fall under children with disabilities, as well as the 504, which is from the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, which is also the American Disability Act.
Educate
Right.
me, sister.
And so
Educate me.
basically what it's saying is, there's like 13 categories that a child may qualify, for specialized program, which is like special education. And just because you say special education, it doesn't mean if that child is mentally challenged.
Right.
That child may have a learning disability, whether it's dyslexia, autistic, it could be behavior, it could be, that falls underneath those 13 categories. And the disability, basically what it's saying is that this child, it is being prevented due to some form of challenge of getting an education. And this child is entitled to a free, appropriate education, inside, the public school system, right? And so those IEPs are not being done correctly.
Right.
Those 504s are not. And 504, there's a difference between, you have one that talks about more accommodations, and then there's more on modification, whether it's medical. 504 is more of a medical thing, and so first of all, parents don't even know, whether or not, their child, if they are on an IEP or a 504, if it's done correctly, because unfortunately inside the New Haven public school system, you have some good teams that, understands what that law is, and then you have some not so good teams. And so a lot of kids, they're being pushed. You got 10th graders that don't even know how to read. And see, that's a problem for me.
Yes.
How are you a 10th grader and you can't even read, or your parent don't even know that you can't even read?
They're not even aware
right?
of where
They're
you-
just, and this is where that whole no kid left behind comes in, that the kids are just being pushed. When you
Pushed
have an
through.
IEP, they're just pushing you through, because what does that IEP states? You can't be held back, right?
That's
so
unbelievable.
that
People
means
were excited
right.
about that
So
No
that
Child
if
Left
you
Behind.
if you do not know what your child, is dealing with, right? If you're not involved, you're not making sure that whatever services is supposed to be set up, people, again, when it comes down to the IEPs, anything that they give our children, especially if you have Husky or any form of insurance, they are reimbursed. The school system is reimbursed.
Wait. Say
If
that
they
again.
give your child speech therapy, if they give your child any type occupational therapy, any type of services, if your child is given and they have an IEP, the medical insurance, whether it's Husky or whatever insurance, that's why if you ever notice when you're filling out those forms in orientation, they ask you, do you have insurance?
Yes.
And what is that number?
Yes.
Wow.
Damn, yo.
They getting paid.
That's crazy.
Again, what the scripture tell us? Our people perish for the lack of
Now,
knowledge.
yo, you're absolutely right. You want to hide something? Where you put it?
In the books.
Where you put it at?
In the books.
Yo, I'm telling you, Rob. Sometime at the barbershop, I strategically place magazines out on the bench in the waiting areas. I strategically place some little articles that I might have read. I just might have picked up the magazine, seen one article in it that just changed my life, just gave me a little knowledge about something, maybe food or diet or monetary investing. You see what I'm saying? Just something that just anything that you can learn from. Just a picture. I watch everybody just literally just slide the magazines over. Just we know we at an age where everybody's down in their phones, they
Well,
digital devices.
Listen, there's articles you can sign up in Google with educational articles.
come right to your
People need
phone,
to listen. The way that this chick called Betty DeVos is doing with this educational system, we better wake up, because it's going to affect everyone, not just some of us. It's going to be every one of us at some point. Is getting, we're coming to those times where, it's more focuses on charter and voucher. They are serious about that. Before you know it, the public system is not going to be no more.
So
they're just setting up.
What do you suggest? Do you think is paying for education better? Like if you're paying for it, it's better. That's automatic. If you're paying for it,
What do we
education
know?
automatically makes it better.
What do we know? Look, what do we know about that, right? Anything is free, right? You're liable to get anything,
Pay for
right?
quality of
When
life.
you-
Pay for
the
quality in
Exactly.
life.
And see, and that's one thing I want people to understand, like St. Martin de Porres, that's a private school that my son goes to.
Yes.
It's $35 for the application, right? If you get in, then your tuition may not be no more than, mine was $50 a month. $50 a month.
They start at 5th grade, I believe it is.
They
right?
start at fifth grade, which is the primary years. That's the from the best years are from 5th to 8th grade.
What school is this?
This is
St.
called
Martin de
St. Martin de
Porres.
Porres, on Columbus Avenue, across from the Yale Nursing, or diagonally from Boys and Girls Club. That is the best private school that you can, like, that's one of them. I can only
They're really
speak of
good.
it because my son
You gotta write that down for me.
attends
Write it down.
St. Martin de
Give me a
Porres.
couple schools that's good. I might
Right.
because I was just having an issue about. I
They-
just said the other day,
May
like,
1st
I don't
was their
feel like they're
application
challenging my
deadline.
child enough. Our children are not being challenged enough.
They're
My
not.
child come home with 2 pages of homework. He do it in 10 minutes. It's over. I'm like, yo, what?
But it's not even in the work that is the challenging. It's just dealing with life skills, period. Because
Everything, like the
even
whole curriculum.
the whole curriculum isn't designed. It's a cookie cutter curriculum for that they're trying to put
But
a
it wasn't-
majority in. It wasn't never
Right.
created
For
with us
us.
in mind.
It wa-
Even when
yeah.
I think about schools like Yale University, when that was created, it was created for the elite people to train them up how to keep the plantations running. So that's what it was created for. So ideally, that shows you they never thought that we were going to get off of the plantation. If you created a whole university to support keeping it there. But what she's saying for St. Martin de Porres, that's a really good school that goes according to your income.
They don't accept any. They don't take any grants. All the money that they
Raised.
have for those schools is raised.
Yes.
Those children. It's about, in my son's class, he's in the 8th grade. There's about 15 students in his classroom.
Do you see that?
It doesn't pass. I'll give or take 16 or 17. They have 2 teachers per classroom. They each one of those children walk away with $16,500.
And they tell you that on the application.
and it's mandatory for parent involvement.
Yes.
Okay, they take those children on trips. My son has went to Vermont and worked the farm. He has been to, matter of fact, for after Memorial Day, be going to Maryland. They go all over the place. They go,
Very
they
true.
whale watching. They go. They pay for
Rob,
them
you
to
hear
go to
this, Rob?
camps. Overnight
Our question
camps
is
for
the
a week.
answer tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think the reason why I'm sharing that is because, again, it was a friend, she said, hey, Ife, I know this school that you're really going to like. They're really hands-on. She broke it down. And it's all about us networking with each other and sharing. So the information is out there. You
Right.
have to be willing and wanting. You got to want more for your kids.
Right.
And get off the
know,
stereotypes too,
and
thinking your kids only have to have certain things. Or
Exactly.
They can't go here and they can't do that because of their color. A lot of times.
That's
I
true.
have a question.
Sorry.
Now the I didn't mean to cut anybody off. I'm sorry.
Sorry
My
about
daughter's in the lottery. She's scheduled for Hill House, but she's number 9 for co-op. Since these schools have closed, will that change?
Of course it will.
Yeah.
She won't, I mean, that's a no-brainer right there.
Because they have up into October.
What they're saying, yeah, they do. They have into October, but then they're giving these kids first dibs because of now. It doesn't really mean that those kids, and they said it clearly, it doesn't mean that they're going to get into the school of their choice, but it does change the numbers, and it shouldn't be like that. But guess what? It's going to be that way because how many parents, we're not coming out in numbers. We are the only ethnic group that don't come out in numbers. Even when someone is shot and we protested, we still don't come out in numbers. We're the only group of people. We are the only group of people that's always claiming something other nationality other than our own.
It's a condition.
It's a condition. It's
Yeah.
a
So how do we fix this?
Well,
how do we fix and break the stigma and the stereotype?
This is one.
Where does it start? I want to be the front runner. Throw the stones at me first. Because we got to change this status quo.
But it starts right with you in your own household.
Right.
It
You gotta
starts
wanna
there.
be, right.
And then from there, then you're able to go out into the community. If you don't have it within yourself, it starts with you. Then you affect those in your household. Then after your household, it goes into the community. You have the desire to change, and then you be the example that you're looking for. And those who are interested, they will come about, and then you just bring awareness. Something like a platform like this. Sometimes people don't even know they have the option of homeschooling. Some people feel inadequate. They're like, oh, well, I don't have
And you can
teaching.
actually get paid for homeschooling.
And this is where I got to connect with
Excuse
her at
me,
right
wait a
here.
minute. Hold on, wait a minute. I love that. Excuse me.
Wait, hold on.
You can get
But
paid.
there's criteria.
Yes.
There are some criteria. But however, think about it. Every child that goes to school, there is a
funding
price
for
tag
them.
on their head.
It is?
Yes.
Take
Yeah.
that child
Yeah,
out
I
of
heard
school,
public
and that
schools
money
get
follows
23
them.
grand. Charter schools get 11.
That's
It
the
all
same thing
it
as-
all depends on where you're coming from. If you're coming from the suburban areas, if you coming into, there's a price. See, the money
That's
differs.
the same thing as prison.
I was just about to say that. That's a prison
Every-
system.
every-
Hey,
every-
it's all about a body. Hey, we got
Yes.
bodies over here. It's all about
That's
that
what I've
number,
been
man.
saying.
It is.
Hey, I got 17 bodies out here.
Yes.
They don't even call you a person. You a body.
Yes. And that's the same
It's
thing.
all about the numbers. It's all,
And that's the
everything
same
is
thing
a
with.
program,
Can you
man.
imagine? Can you imagine if you take every child out of the schools?
It would close. It would be no funding for it. Would
There
close
would be no
down. There would be
funding.
no funding because
there
there's no
would be,
need.
There would be nothing.
Oh, they don't want you to take your
okay.
kids out of school. Let me
got-
tell you, it wasn't easy for you. I mean, you can do it, but if you're not educated, like, well, what do you want to homeschool? The first thing you'll point to, like, you have the appropriate.
We got a phone call?
Yes, we do.
We finally got a phone call? Hello, express yourself.
Hey.
Express yourself.
Hey, what's up? This Aisha.
Hold on, Aisha. Hold on.
Hi, Aisha.
Hold on. Let me fix some things. Hold on.
Everybody's scared to call in tonight. You know when it's about good stuff and it's facts. People don't want to call in.
Go
They want the
ahead,
ratchet
Aisha.
stuff.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hi,
I'm
Aisha.
really loving the conversation. I'm loving how the ladies are, how they're coming out in love and they're expressing it in a way that is understandable, and it's not in a bashing way because some people just really don't know, what's
Right.
really going on, and I just love how it's not coming off in a bashing way. It's like really informational. I can respect that.
Word.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Ish.
Do you have a kid in the public school?
Absolutely. I was with at first I was with the Amistad. My children was there for many years. And as the name was explaining about the discipline in the pipeline and gearing them for jail and setting them up by the fourth grade, they already have my children labeled.
Yes,
in
yes.
school. Because they were different. I think at these schools that they're just like this one robot kid and they don't let children be themselves, and so now that's a behavioral problem. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I went through that for many years. And so this is our first year with the public school. And my children is at Wexler, and Wexler, even though it has a bad reputation, the staff there is awesome. They have been really working with my children, but what makes it hard is because I advocate for my kids and they do these things for my kids, they're the only kids getting this attention, so it becomes a problem.
Right.
If you understand what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Because, now it brings other problems with the kids because now they're getting what they seem as special treatment But I'm just coming into the school, trying to find different ways, for them to deal with them.
Right.
I would love to homeschool my children as Denise does. But I gotta work,
Right.
and
That's the reality of it.
I try to stay on the same page with the school, and they've been really supportive, and that's what I can say about my experience so far with the public school. It's just getting my children out of that going through an homicide for 4 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
I have to re-educate them again.
Right.
So yeah, I'm really loving how you guys are showing that there's people out there like us. We have real problems. Right here at lower level in our community, and it's all right to talk about the little gossip every now and then, but these are the real conversations that need to be had.
That's right.
And get attention on, because we are affected. So I just love the conversation. I just wanted to give my piece, and
Thank you.
yeah, it's real good tonight. So it's a real good conversation.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, good night.
All right, good night.
Please share, people. Please share. Please press the share button. Share us with people. We're educating tonight about the education system. We're educating tonight and shedding light on the New Haven public school system and any school system that just might not be doing their job and not putting our kids to the forefront. And that's what these young ladies are here for. And on that note, I want you to speak about that, Nay, real quick, about, the difference in your children with homeschooling. Like she said, for people out there that might think because they don't have any help. Like everybody don't have a village.
But the homeschooling people, they think, when they think of homeschooling, they automatically think of how the European school system is set up, meaning you have to do it in the morning, you have to do it from these hours to that hours. It's not like that. It's not required. You have the power to create your own curriculum and what works for you at what time of hours. Yours may be on the weekends, but my schooling is all year long. There's no days off, because every day we're learning something. Our math is going to the grocery store after creating a budget and finding out how we're going to work within that budget.
Life skills.
Life skills, something they can use all the time. Our science is in measurements with math, is cooking a cake or something along those lines and finding how consistencies, how things change when heat hit it. So it's taking everyday things like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be, our mind is conditioned to think you have to go into a classroom and there's someone who's teaching you. I learn from my kids all the time, and I learn from them every day that I don't know everything. It's because a lot of times they're ahead of me in some things, especially when it comes to technology, but it's to open up dialogue and understand they have a voice. The school system kind of robs our children of a voice. So what I mean by that, everybody can't talk at the same time. The teachers are sometimes overworked because you got one teacher to a classroom full of 25 people. I totally get that. I'm not insensitive to that. But my children have the opportunity to express themselves and talk. And it doesn't have to be within the hours of 8 to 4. We live this.
And just to piggyback off of that,
Before you say that, can we grab this caller right quick?
oh, go ahead.
Oh, we got a call?
Go ahead, caller.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm just going to call and I'm going to piggyback off of Ms. Ife and the stuff that she was saying. And we have 22,000 parents in the city of New Haven.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a board meeting with 12 parents. How do you expect things to change? If we're not going to be involved with our children, then there's no need to complain. There's no need to go to say anything negative.
Good point.
Because you're not an active member of your child's life. You're not active in your child's life. Now, my children went to school in Hamden, and they made it mandatory that if you're not going to participate, then you might as well don't come to the table at all. That's real facts, because the parents ran the school. The parents laid down the law. And it's crazy what I'm about to say, is they had a table set up. The parents with the money, with the finances, sat at the table. The parents that kind of had money stood outside of the table. And the parents that were just common folks were on the outside of the outside. And the way they were running the way they were conducting meetings at times was basically, you say something, they'll look back and say, what do you think? Then they'll look back and say, what do you think? Every year, my son's team went 0-20 in athletics. They threw a 5-star breakfast for the children. They gave children scholarships to go to college. I mean, it's just little things like that. But guess what? All of us as parents had to be active. You had to be active in your child's life. So if you're not an active parent, this is why you get what you get. And also, too, parents have to realize this. When you walk inside of a building and you use profanity, you act ignorant, you act ghetto, you're automatically on the ignore list. We have to understand that as a people, we have to come in and act like we have some common sense. We have a tad bit of education. There's so many different variables that I would love to speak about. There's so much to talk about, but people are not going to be receptive to this because they don't think that anything is wrong with not being active in a child's life. So that's why we have the issues. That's why we have the things that we're facing. And if we're not going to step up, we're not going to be active members in our children's lives, then there's no need to come on these kind of shows. There's no need to make all these posts about how bad the school system is, how bad this is, how bad that is, because you're not making change. You're not there to make change. You have to be active in the child's life. And also, too, when we talk about money, folks, you have to realize every student has an identification number that follows you.
An inmate
your
number.
school records follow you.
Your inmate number.
Yeah. Inmate number. Yes.
Right, your
It's a
inmate
system,
number.
man. It's a system.
Your school number follows you. Your school records follow you. They actually keep your records for at least 20 years after you graduate. Then they destroy your records.
And a parent can request those records too
So,
at any time.
I got to go. I just wanted to call in. Great show. I'm enjoying the positive vibe. More shows like this dealing with the community. I just wish that the community would get more involved in their children's education, like you get involved with the Pop Smith football.
Yes.
Like you get involved with everything else. You know, when the Jordans come out, you sleep outside all night. Or report card night, it's about, you got a school with 800 kids, you got 75 parents, and they even provide the hurtful part.
Wow.
Because they know you work. They provide dinner. I remember Miss Ife used to, I can't remember was that her program, but I believe they used to supply dinner. If you came and got your child's report card, they would give you a home-cooked meal. It wasn't a 5-star meal, but it was a meal that you and all your children, your family members could come so that there was no excuse for you to say, well, it's late, I got to fix dinner for my children.
Eliminating
Everyone
all
could
the
come to
excuses.
the report card night and get a meal. You could actually bring your family and get a meal, maybe for $1, a couple of dollars, just a donation to help buy some food for the next time. But those are just small things. Y'all have a great night. I'm going to go
Yo,
back
I don't
to
know who
the
this guy. He
phone
got a lot of knowledge. Thank you, caller, whoever you are. You got a lot of knowledge, and I can tell you a little older because you talking about free meals back in the day with the report. He an older guy. I know that.
No, what he's saying
Y'all
is,
have a great. I'm going to watch it.
Thank you.
Doc.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you, caller.
what he's saying is, the group that I'm a part of, which is a citywide parent team, and most people may hear my voice. I'm calling and I'm asking you to come out.
You're the lady.
To
She's the
that.
lady
You
on the
lady
phone
that
with
be
the
on
Puerto
with
Rican
the
guy.
475, the
Yes.
the zeros calling my damn phone.
She said, "Hello, parents. This message will repeat in Spanish."
Yeah, kept the kidding. That's
Para que
español.
sí, calma, This is Ife. If you don't stop calling me at 7 o'clock in the morning.
But listen,
Yo, you got a good voice though. You got
Thank you.
You got one.
You know what?
Let me speak to number 6.
Yo, you is stupid, yo. You is stupid, yo.
You can make a whole
Congratulations,
lot of money off the
you
dog.
played yourself.
That's a different show. That's a different show. That's a different show. That's a different show.
So
Ife number 6.
This is
Exotic.
good.
Okay.
No, basically what happens is, we every month we come up with a topic. We've done surveys asking parents that has participated, what is it that we can bring to you? This is a group of parents, it's by parents for parents, and we try to tap into the community. Just May 3rd we had a summer program fair where we had a couple of organizations that is offering summer camps, activities, and that comes in. And so what we do is we actually provide a dinner, and that one thing for sure, we want to make sure that when you're taking that time and coming into our meeting for an hour and a half, we get a chance to feed you, and we have childcare. I also have a nonprofit organization called OB Collaborative Advocate Inc., which I advocate for children with special needs. And I also do trainings, and for those, that type of group, whether it's understanding what an IEP is or understanding 504 or what is autism or reading disability.
What does IEP actually stand for?
It's individualized educational plan, and it's a plan that's going to fit that particular child needs or enough for them to be able to, be successful in a classroom. And some parents don't know, you don't necessarily have to, again, you don't have to be mentally challenged. It could be speech, child having a reading disability, having a behavior issue, ADD, ADHD, right. And I do this, again, I'm nonprofit, so it's not like I get a fee off of this. I do this because I want to help my people, my children, my future. The only reason why my second grader really is in the New Haven Public School is, again, here comes politics, right? If you're not a part of the New Haven, they really don't allow you to, your voice, you can have a voice,
but you won't be heard.
Exactly.
How could you speak on something that you have no knowledge or participation in? So that's how they're looking at it. If you don't have a child that attend our curriculum, how could you have any say-so?
But they still bring in people from outside of our
sacrificial lamb is my son, because guess what? Can he go to a private school? Yes, my other son is in a private school. Can he go to another district? Yeah, he can. But he's there in New Haven. And don't get me wrong, we do have some good schools in New Haven, right? We do have some good teachers. But you know what? That comes from actually having parents, really involved and really caring. If you look at the schools that are really striving, look at the participation level in that school. Yes. See whether or not they have PTOs. A lot of parents, I don't got time for that. You don't have time for that, but you can go to a club. Yeah. Right. You don't have time for it, but you can go to a concert.
That's what we're dealing with right now.
It's all about the
and don't get me wrong, because I have my entertainment as well. However, guess what? You better believe I'm in the school system. That's right. Sometimes I'm in a school system that ain't even for my kid. And I'm there advocating because at the end of the day, someone has to do it.
Yo, you're absolutely right, man. And just like the caller said, it's about participation and being active in your school and in your child's life. Most of these parents that we're talking about are people that just wake up and just want to make sure that their kids are off to school. They don't care what's going on. It's a daycare for them. It's a way to have their child occupied and while they can go make ends meet to take care of their bills.
Those are selfish people. They're selfish people.
They're not.
They're selfish people.
That's why DCF is in a lot of these situations.
But that's where my mindset coming at. It's like, why are the people like that? What has happened in their life? How have they been affected by the community directly? Not making excuses for them. However, we have children having children who have parents who were affected by the crack epidemic. Either or they're locked away. They've been a victim, I would say, and not that they should be considered themselves. They've been victimized. They don't have to remain a victim of how we've been a targeted people, and people have been sent away unfairly. Not saying I'm talking about for unreasonable amount of time. People have been murdered on the streets. So it's like, why are you in that position where you just want to get your kids off? What is going on in your life? Because some people, they have to work that 3 to 11 shift. Who is your community? Like, if you got friends that you can club with, you should have friends who can go to PTA or PTA on your behalf.
You're absolutely right.
And to back up that, right? This is why one day I was watching on TV One. They had an educational forum, and they had all these educators that were coming from different parts of the state, New York. There was Connecticut, there was Maryland, and so forth. And this 13-year-old young man walk up to the podium, and they asked, he had the opportunity to ask his question, and his question was, I'm always hearing it takes a village to raise a child. He said, but I have no idea what that village looked like. And a lot of our children don't have any clue of what that village looked like. They only heard stories, right? Whether it's during our times where we know about what that village looked like. But this is why, for me, I've been working on trying to restoration of the village, to restore that village, because you do have people that are in positions where they can't. So they need someone to step in.
Yes.
That's what we have to do. We have to be able to create that vibration, that energy all over again. The ones that cannot, step in, because this is our future. Our future don't look too bright right now.
Right.
It
Especially
really does,
education
especially
field.
with the underneath the administration that we are under at this point in time. Looking at the people that are around, you got a lot of people who are out for self-gain.
Yes.
Nothing else. How does that help us?
Even the people in these educational positions.
Exactly.
That-
But see, again, the power is within the parents.
People got
The power is
numbers.
in the
You're
parents.
right.
We all have to come out. And there's a way, do not get me wrong. There is a way that you can become vocal. And the best way to do it is to educate yourself.
Yes.
There's so many trainings going on. There's so many trainings you can tap into. There's so many things that is happening inside the schools that you can begin to ask questions. Look at the Connecticut State Department of Education. You'll be surprised. You start looking up there and tapping into that, you'll begin to learn different things. And you say, wait a minute, my child don't have that. And you by right can go in. Like, people don't even know you can opt out of testing.
Yes.
You can write a letter to the principal and say, I do not want my child doing any more, smart balance testing or, whatever testing. You can opt out.
Wow.
Yes.
You don't have to.
You got a call?
Your child don't have to
call?
leave.
Let's take this caller real quick.
Oh, yes. Hi.
Express yourself,
Great
young lady.
show, guys. Okay, thank you. Yes, I am calling from New Haven. I'm new here. I've only been here 2 years. And I'm really calling for advice and direction. Now, I just had a child, my first son. He's going to be 8 months. And I plan on homeschooling. I'm definitely against the public school system and just a lot of things, anti-vaccines, a whole bunch of stuff. So I was wondering, what can I do? And I also, my husband and I, we have custody of my stepdaughter. So we do have a 3-year-old and an 8-month-old here. And we're both raising them, we plan on homeschooling them. And also, we have pretty strict dietary needs. I mean, it's not strict for us, but for the masses, it may be strict. Non-dairy, non-meat. So I'm just trying to link up with other families that kind of live like we do, have the same kind of perspective and raising their children similarly. But I'm really looking forward to getting more information on homeschooling and connecting with other mothers in New Haven that are homeschooling their children.
Okay. Well, my information is definitely there. And we were talking about starting a co-op. What I did, because it was my first year, it was me actually taking time off of work to get to know my children, taking time to get to know who they were, because for many years, the public school system, so to speak, was raising them. So that's what we did for our first year. But I am looking forward to starting a co-op where I can get with other families in the New Haven area, because this is not very common, I would say. It's like other areas, like in the suburban areas, where you find the homeschooling. Some of the resources that we have New Haven Reads, that's over on Ashman Street.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
the station down, but I didn't hear you quite clearly.
Oh, no problem. New Haven Reads is a place where you can go. I mean, besides the libraries and everything,
New Haven Reads.
New Haven Reads. That's a good place just for connecting with other people. It's a park.
And it doesn't, I'm sorry, by the way, it doesn't have to be New Haven per se. It could be like the closest cities, Camden. I mean, within 20 minutes away, it's fine.
But what town? What mind
You're
me
in West
asking?
Haven,
What
you
town
said?
are you in?
It could be West Haven, North Haven, New Haven, being in the neighboring city, towns. It's
Right.
fine.
Your kids, they're very, very, very young. So there's a lot. If you look at the New Haven, West Haven, usually the libraries, they have like a lot of Mommy and Me programs that you can do on
Okay.
Saturdays. Social media. I mean, even looking on Google, just Googling, Mommy.
No, I have done. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What should I Google?
Like
I haven't
Mommy and Me
anything.
programs, anything along those lines. Because I'm thinking about the child, the age of your children. You said 8 months and 3 years old.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so very, very, very young. It's just their environment itself. So you'll be looking for more of social groups of people
Okay.
who are thinking like. So I would just say Google some social groups. That age range is different for me. Even though my youngest is 2 years old, my oldest is 20. So I have
wow.
the two 10-year-olds, two 10-year-olds, a 5-year-old, and a 2-year-old. The 2-year-old right now he's just learning from his environment. But the other ones, we're home right now, but we just utilize our local libraries and getting involved in just community things. As far as learning about, I'm sorry, I get a little nervous. Going to look for free events. That's what I do. I go downtown. They have like Yale. They have the Peabody Museum where you have donation days. You can go there. You have downtown, the British Art Museum. They have donation days. So I just look for free things around and I Google social programs for the kids. But right now we haven't really tapped into all that because I really intentionally took this 1 year off just to get to know my kids.
Definitely.
But my name,
Yeah.
Danae Bennett, is there. I would love to connect with you because as you grow and learn, I can give you some pointers and tips what worked for me this year just to help bump you ahead a little bit. But
Yes, I'm going to inbox you actually.
Please,
Definitely,
please do.
Because I know they're young and I want to just get a head start on it and at least get them socializing with other children that are kind of similar and, other parents because I'm not from here, so I don't know anyone.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. It's all starting right there in your local city. That's where you get a lot of your information at. And social media is definitely a great place because it's people I cannot think of the name. It was a place where they do like social meetups because I used to do Bible study and stuff through this. I forgot the name of that application, but you can, I would say be safe. Definitely
Yes.
be safe and make sure anything that you're looking into, it definitely lines up with what you're looking for because you can end up in something cultish.
my God,
Too
no.
vigilant, so it's just being mindful and you check the temperature of what it is. But right now I would say your local libraries and stuff like that would be really good for kids your age. But please inbox
All
me.
right. Thank you so much.
And I heard you
I'm
mention
loving
something
this
about
stuff.
vaccinations.
Yes, no, our kids are not vaccinated. No,
Okay,
they're-
it's a doctor in Milford. Inbox me who works with children who are not against who are not for vaccinations. They support parents like you who choose to vaccinate or not vaccinate. And even if you put your kids in school, you can opt out of it
Yes.
with a letter stating you do not. Because I didn't vaccinate any
Or
of
you
my
can
children.
request from central office.
Great.
the
Oh my
letter.
gosh, thank you so much for the information.
Yeah,
I need all
and
this information.
and people don't
And I
under,
will definitely send you a
right.
message.
You don't.
Thank you so much,
People
Carla.
don't.
Thank you.
Yeah, please
All right,
inbox
thank you.
me. Yeah.
People
All right.
don't understand when they start telling you that it's mandatory for flu shot, you can opt out of that.
Yes.
If you don't want to give your child a flu shot, and again, I'm speaking on facts, what I know, what I
Yes.
have done. I'm not speaking on what someone is telling me. So,
Yes.
again, you can always check with the central office and let them know that you want to opt out of flu shots or any vaccination. You by law they don't have to force you.
Now, I got a question. Had this been a show where some asses were shaking,
Oh,
we'll
you
be
know.
at probably 400 or 500 right now.
You know that, man.
Views.
You know that. Education.
So
Well, you
people
know,
say- that goes back to what Ife said.
Come on, man.
It's just
They're not involved.
They're not
They're not
some
involved.
people just don't
and
care.
Most of the people, and some people just don't care. They don't want to care. They so busy doing their own thing. And most of our callers tonight, what's going to be women orientated anyway, because fathers ain't even involved. Like I chaperone a few trips a couple times, and I'm there with all women. They looking at me like I'm the alien.
Guys, it's okay because
Yeah, it
one
is.
thing I've learned that you know, if you at least reach one.
That's
you
it.
know,
That one could touch millions.
And right. And so it's okay because again, you know, it is a conversation that we're having, and it may not be someone's interest at this point in time, but somewhere down the line when things come knocking at their door, they'll probably be able to revert back to the conversation.
Oh, it's
or
going to
reach
happen,
back, you know,
definitely.
because that's just the cycle, you know, of this thing. And it's okay. You know, again, people, you know, they only, it's like with our group, you know, sometimes we have 50 parents in attendance, you know, sometimes we may even get to 100. It's depending on their interests, their topics, you know, that we're doing that they may be interested in.
We got a caller. Somebody want to
Ife, that
express yourself.
Earl Capel wants to know, what's the name of that private school again?
St. Martin de Portis Academy.
Write that down.
Or Columbus.
Martin's.
I know my kid though.
St. Martin de Portis Academy.
St. Martin's de Portis.
Go ahead, caller.
Hello, yes. I just wanted to make a statement. What you said, Rob, is true. If it was about shaking the lumps, everybody'd be tuned in. This is very educational.
Thank you, sister.
And what I wanted to just say, we have to look at the generation of is young mothers having kids.
Yes.
So they're more important. Their thing is what their kids look like. The Jordans, you know, the next fashion.
Yeah.
And that really upsets me because they worried about what their kids look like instead of what they have on the inside of their head. And that really gets to me because you know what I want the next topic to be, not to get over it, life insurance.
Yes.
So
Yes.
true. Make sure
Please.
next topic
Yes.
on life
Ma'am.
insurance.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
that's
already,
awesome.
we already was talking about that.
Exactly.
We already
and they need to worry about, instead of what their kids, the Jordan, that messes up too because they make other kids feel like they're less
inferior.
Beneath them.
Inferior. You're
Instead of
right.
worrying about can they write.
You're
you know
right.
how many kids come out of school they can't even write cursive?
Oh my gosh.
And
That's something, yeah.
ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. So I enjoyed this show. This is the only time I really enjoyed this show.
Wow.
Wow. So who's sleeping with who? Mind your business.
Wow.
If your kids up writing and learning how to read. That's what they need to be worried about.
Does the new
Rob,
host
you
got
know
anything
me.
to do with this?
Is Beatrice Lewis.
I think the new host got everything to do
Oh,
with
this is
this.
Beatrice Lewis. Oh, okay, Beatrice, no doubt.
Yes. Hi, Beatrice.
I gotta get off so I can finish watching y'all.
All right. Thanks
Thank
for calling,
you.
Beatrice.
And even
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
But you know
even
what?
what they brought up the subject about Jordans a lot, and that's one thing I enjoy about homeschooling. One thing they don't do in school, period, and it's just across the board. Even up in Greenwich, I was looking at this. They don't educate our children about finances.
Yes.
That is a tool that is needed throughout life, and you don't get any information about that. Now, I petitioned the school to let me come in here and bring our program Grow, which is gaining reachable opportunities through wisdom. And with that company, we talk about financial literacy from anywhere from pre-K or from the beginning, if they start talking all the way up until whatever age. And it's just learning how to use finance as a tool. And I hear Jordans come up a lot. And you can train and let these kids know, instead of you buying Jordans and wearing them, with what you purchase in them one pair of Jordans, you could become part owner in that company.
There you go.
How do you become part
Buy a
owner?
share.
You buy shares.
There you go.
So $52 to $53 per share, and you got one pair of Jordans, you can possibly have 4 shares in that company.
You're absolutely right. man.
Now you're investing in yourself when you
You're
do
investing
buy
in
the
yourself when
Jordans.
You do buy it. Now let me ask you something. Let's talk numbers for a second. Hold on, Rob. Let's talk numbers, because you said that you put your son through private school, right? So, and a lot of people don't know that. You know,
There's funding.
They work with the minority that comes in there because there's a certain number that they have to reach to put us in positions.
My son
All private
will be
schools.
going to Xavier for 9th grade.
Whoa,
and
congratulations.
They just gave him $10,500 to attend.
I have a question from somebody in the box. It's called the bullpen.
The bullpen.
Cameron Green said, do the young lady at homeschools worry about her kids missing out of having a social life?
No, absolutely not. They even have a better social life. My kids can speak with anyone from a baby to the president of any company, including the United States of America. And what I mean by that, they're not shy about their conversation. They have confidence in themselves versus being in a classroom setting where they're told to shut up. don't talk, don't do this, don't do that with instructions. So even in the public school setting, they're not able to talk to each other. It's always an issue unless, it's lunchtime or what have you. But you have to make the conscious decision to go to parks, get involved in community activities. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in a school setting. I mean, it's too many opportunities out there, and not just through social media, face-to-face interaction. You can do fundraisers. You can become a part. I mean, there's too many ways to socialize and for them to miss out on it.
And to piggyback on that, there's also now what's happening is there's a lot of organization like Jump Zone, Rock and Jump, different ones, especially in Milford and Orange, that actually have time that is allotted for children that are homeschooled.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So you can come take out their...
Come and just have fun together and connect.
I have a
libraries.
question, and I don't want to go across the wrong way. Is it too late?
Too late
for what?
Is it too late to reverse the thinking? Because you grab the mind, the ass will follow. People just don't give a fuck. They just don't care.
It's never too late if
Willie
you
Lynch
breathe.
said it best. Willie Lynch said in his letter, he said, part of his letter says, if you do this, if you follow what I tell you, how to get them to hate each other by the color of their skin, to the texture of their hair, from the shape of their nose and their lips. Some will get away, just a few, but many will be conditioned for the years to come. And that's what's happening. It's like we're always talking about, we got to be real with ourselves.
Yes.
The only way we're going to be able to move forward if we're honest. If we really say to ourselves, I am not in a position that I want to be. I know that I deserve better. And we get away from this white privilege mindset.
Yes.
We say it. Why are we saying we have just as much as privilege as any other ethnic group? We just have to believe it for ourselves, and we have to want better for ourselves. And if you're just comfortable in where you at in life, then guess what? I guess you don't see nothing past that. But if you want something, what they say, if you know better, you do better.
That's
right.
the bottom line.
So that's the bottom line, right?
And to touch on that, just to piggyback off of what you're elaborating on, a lot of us, I'm gonna say minority, we don't research. We don't research. We don't look into anything.
I
We heard. We like that. We like telephone.
Somebody said. Somebody I overheard.
I heard.
Somebody told me. But nobody do their own research and just
Or have
everything is
their
at a
own-
fingertip right now for you.
They don't have their own genuine encounter
It's
or the
unbelievable.
experience for themselves.
So what's an average private school monthly payment? Just on average.
Okay, like I said, for me, again, it's based on your income. For me, I didn't have to pay but $50 a month.
Look at this. You see what I'm
And-
saying,
and-
man?
and
And
but
you got
what
people buying foam posit sneakers that's $250 a pop.
Even at
$150 for
but
your
you know
child.
what?
Education is on your kids' backs. That's why you can't afford school.
But you know what
because
I-
they wearing it. It's in their closet.
But you know what I did? I'm gonna and I'm gonna keep it real with people. When I do my taxes, my son's education comes straight out, and I pay it right off the front line.
That's along with car insurance. Insurance is good with that too.
Guess what? That's one thing I don't have to worry about for the
the rest
remaining of the year
because you value it.
It's all
you
right.
value it. It's
Yeah.
all about the it's the perception of the person. If you value, like this guy, I love his name is E.T. Thomas. He said there's no such thing as procrastination. He said, let me show you. He said, if I told you meet me here tomorrow morning at 5:00 in the morning and I had $2 million for you, would you show up?
Was that educational speaker guy?
He E.T. Thomas, he's just phenomenal. He speaks about education. He's just a powerhouse.
That's the one with the voice.
He's very vigilant about bootstraps, and he eliminate excuses. And he said many of you will be here at 4:45, 4:30. Some of you will sleep outside for it. He said procrastination isn't an issue; it's the value. What you value, you're gonna do. So and I'm gonna bring it all the way 100. if you have somebody who you knew call you at 1:30 in the morning every night for a certain thing you value, you're going to make sure that stuff is clean. You're going to make sure that body is right. And you're going to make sure everything is laid out nice. And I'm talking about booty. And I'm going there because you value that relationship. I mean, I'm just going to keep it really simple. I got to simplify this thing. You value it. If you want to be in a relationship with someone and you do things a certain way, you know how to value. You make it happen. Can't nobody stand in between what you value. So it's not so much of it being an issue. It's you don't value education.
It's what you value.
What you value will always be priority over everything else.
Yo, you're right, because I've seen women value their relationship with men more than their children.
Well, but that goes a little deeper than that because yeah,
they go and pay $400 or $500 for some hair.
Yes,
I'm still stuck on that.
Right, and it's because they value their parents.
For some hair.
I'm stuck. Right,
$500 for a bundle of hair.
You ask. Listen, I've seen students
$300
sitting up here, patting the head or brushing their hair, and like, oh, how much those cost, and how much that what you call it, tracks or whatever.
They succeed.
Bundles. See, I don't even know, right? And I've heard oh no, this was $200. No, mine was $400. And I'm like, well,
is this in school?
Yes, in school. And I'm like, well, do
how did you
have any money in the
bank,
in the savings?
And it's these things are not
Miss Eve. No, okay.
Do they know what a savings in social media
they winning, man.
And TV and all those other things? They make this okay, and when we allow for it to happen, we make it okay. Our appearance, we have this thing where the mask has to look great, even if we're suffering on the inside.
Right.
The mask has to present itself to be well, and we put value into. We equate value with what we have on the outside. If my tracks is laid right, if my shoes is right, my feet, but yet you gotta get a GoFundMe when it comes to other things that happen because we don't have the life insurance or because we're uneducated in a lot of areas.
We gotta make fish sandwiches and sell buttons.
And I'm not knocking crowdfunding. And now this is why I look at, if you got the crowdfunding mentality, you could crowdfund for your kids to get the education that you need. You can pay for those tutors. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, like you said with this show tonight, people will show up more to say I paid $10 to go towards someone deaf than I did towards someone's education. Mm-hmm. The straw for me that kind of jacked me up was when I seen Mid-K, and I'm not knocking Mid-K, get your coin.
I am.
And what I mean by that is I seen this store get 3 stores. I went to see them from a Toyota Corolla to having BMW trucks right in my neighborhood. Now you got 3 stores, and your kids are not going to my public school system. Your kids are going to private school. So I'm funding your kids' private school education. Yes. I'm funding this. Another Korean person came in. They opened up a pharmacy. How come we don't encourage people to do pharmacy tech when we in the community? We have most high blood pressure pills. We got Walgreens popping. We got Rite Aid popping. We got CVS popping. Then this dude from a whole Korean guy, I said, where do you live, sir? Now he's outside handing out his business cards at the fish market, Demanio. So however way you pronounce it. And I'm not knocking the fish sandwiches. They could be good and fluffy. So as well.
Diamatos?
Yeah, Diamatos. He's out there handing out his business card. And I said, oh, do you live in this area? No, I live in Orange. I ask questions like that because here I am. You're smart. I'm watching you. You utilizing our lack of education to fund your education and your lifestyle. Not on my kids' back.
Yo, let me tell you something. That's a whole nother show.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yo, let me tell you that, Rob, that's a whole nother show we could talk about.
It's the lack of education that is causing us to pay for everyone else's lifestyle in our C-class neighborhood.
The community, man.
They're not
sucking out of the community.
They're not raping the community. We're lifting up our skirts and giving it to them.
Exactly. I agree. That's what happened. That's what's happening every day, and that's why I said at the end of the day, we can't blame nobody but ourselves. We really can't.
We're not raping the community. They're not raping the community. We lifting up our skirts and giving it to them.
And with the and
drop another blood clot, Bob.
But we learn about that in sociology. You learn about something called horizontal fighting. And as long as we continue to blame one another and we forget that we're all in the same boat, and it gets a distraction for us to pay attention to the real issue, which is to keep you fighting, because as long as you stay fighting, you don't realize you could buy the houses in your own neighborhood.
I have a question. Do you guys have white friends?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I have friends from everybody.
Let me tell you something, yo, Rob. This one.
I didn't say yes.
Wait, can you pause the bomb? Can you pause in the middle of the bomb? Wait. So what was your response?
I didn't say no. I didn't get a chance. Y'all said yes, and he hit the bomb.
He hit the bomb.
Okay, Ife.
Do you have any white friends, Ife?
No, I don't.
Wait.
Friend is a strong word. Friend is a strong word. Friend is a strong word. I have white associates.
Can I re-articulate myself? I knew that was coming. I knew I went with that when she was gonna say that. All right, so
go ahead. You can say it.
So
man.
you have.
I don't either.
You have associates and people that you deal with on a regular basis.
I have people that
color.
I have conversation with that is white.
Mm-hmm.
That I have conversation with, but anyone that I have brought home or that I've sat in their homes, no.
And I can attest to that as well. I don't have.
Can I ask you something?
Right.
Go ahead.
Are you racist?
I love my people.
So you're pro-black?
I am so much pro-black.
See the difference? See, I tried to
catch you. Trying to throw the trick question at her.
She got it.
Trying to Fox News her.
Yeah, because everybody always think pro-black means anti something else. No, just for them out there, pro-black does not mean anti anyone else. So I'm just for my people.
Listen, I don't have anything against anyone. I just love, my folks, my people, my blood. I just love them. And I just want the best for my people, especially for my children. And when I mean children, I mean all of them, not just the ones that I pushed out, but for every last one of them. Because at the end of the day, that guess what? If this child is not right, that at some point, that child not being right can affect my child.
Yes.
That's how I look at it.
Yes. A lot of people don't understand that love thy neighbor thing.
I need all of these kids out here. I need for my son, whether the one that's about to be 21 or the one that's 13, that is sitting in these, that goes catch the bus in these neighborhoods, that walks from one end to the next.
To be safe.
I need to know that, guess what? When he walks, he's going to be very safe.
Yes.
That no one's going to hurt him.
I want to know. I want to know, has anybody seen this? Because I typically see it. Now, where we are right now, you can drive out of here and you'll see the trash and stuff like that. But as you go over that hill, shit cleans up.
Oh, it changes drastically.
Is that like some kind of geographical slavery?
No,
it's value.
That's
value. It's all about value.
Your home, it's gonna go down. You don't paint it. You don't power wash it. You don't trim the lawn. You don't get somebody to make. It's about maintenance. If you don't value what you have, it will dilapidate. That's your house, your neighborhood, your relationship.
Yes.
Whatever it is. So, Rob, you gotta understand, man.
If you go to the homeowner's house. If you go around the corner to the homeowner's house, you're gonna see their areas cleaned up because they invested in that community.
What's a prime example of what y'all saying and what Rob's saying right now about value, Rob? Mm-hmm. When I went to Cali. I was in Cali, and my boy, he took me through like different geographical. So he wanted to bring me to Oakland. I went to Oakland, and I was shocked. I was baffled. I couldn't understand how people could have. You got a 2-3 car garage house. You got a palm tree in front of your house.
Because the value.
And you got bullet holes in it. It's raggedy. It's dilapidated. So it go to show you what you value.
Yes.
We would never. How could you let a 3-car garage house go down the drain?
But it's for you.
What's the reason of not having white friends?
Yes, that's Miss. That's.
So
Christine Ellis, she's Muslim. She was on the show. She's a great person. Okay, go ahead.
So let me answer that. First of all, I have a very small circle of friends.
Where did you read that at?
It's here.
I was like, what's this?
I have a very small circle of friends, and one of the things that I've learned about friends a long time ago is a friend is someone that will lay down their life for you.
Yes.
So unless I know that you're gonna lay down your life for me, then I can't call you my friend, or you can't call me your friend. So I haven't met that person yet of another color, a race that has even made themselves worthy into being in my circle. And it's nothing personal, but that's just the way that I am.
Wow, you answered that. I love the way you articulate yourself.
I know it definitely makes perfect. It makes perfect sense.
And you know what? On that note, we changing the format up, man. We're looking for bullpen readers. We want people to come sit in our bullpen so they can read the comments, because a lot of the comments we miss out on when we having good dialogue. So every week, I don't just want to have the same readers up here. I want to give other people chances to come up here and sit on our platform and also raise dialogue. So feel free to call Rob and let us know if you want to come volunteer to be one of our comment readers in the bullpen, or you want to come up on this platform. Please, we're looking, because we have a lot of dialogue, that we got different topics that we're bringing up that I know a lot of people are going to be interested in. It's different. It needs to be worded. People don't talk about these things, and there's a lot of stuff that I'm bringing from the barbershop that we talk about, amongst men, that need to be heard, even about the opposite sex, about the same sex, about issues, government issues, political, religious. We're going to use this platform to raise awareness about every aspect of life. We're not
consider it wrapping
and we're not
services.
shying away from anything. That's what we said. Me and Rob are the right two people for this position, because we're not scared of anything. I don't care I don't care if you want to sleep with 5 dudes. That's it. If that's what you do, that's what you do. But we're going to have a platform where we can, we want to get an understanding.
I think it's
with everyone,
right, and that's a good way to. Excuse me for interrupting.
Racist people. I want to talk to racist people too.
But it's like this. It's about wrapping services around your community. That's what I get that this platform is used. Meaning we're providing you we're providing you not only with an issue or speaking about an issue, we're also providing you with services, something that you can utilize, someplace that you can go to get informed and bring it back to your assigned area to use immediately. I mean, unfortunately, when it's good food like this, everyone likes genetically modified food. It just has this thing that tastes better. But when it's organic and it's truth and it's life, it's a hard time to change your life over to that. So I just encourage you guys to stay pushing, and the right people will come. It's going to wean out, because if you rather have junk food, you're going to eat junk food.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Versus, what I call genetically modified, or you're going to have the nutritious food. This is something that is nutrients for your mind, for your body, and for your family. And it's going to, it's not going to change until people actually take what they learn and apply it.
When you homeschool, does someone, an official in an official capacity, have to come to your home and check it out?
Oh, absolutely not. But it is a learning environment, so anyone can't just come across my threshold, and I have that right. I don't have to report to the state of Connecticut. They want you to do for testing, but I opt out of that. It's not required of me. No one has to come. I have the ability to educate I know my kids better than anyone else, so I have the ability to educate them. However, in any event, I'm lacking in something. Well, actually, I lack no good thing. And what I mean by that, there's always someone that has the answer to my problem. So in our house, we can't say the word can't, because can't puts you in a place of pride where you won't ask someone else. So now you're required to ask someone for help. No, don't say you can't. It's a time of need. Go reach out. And I live by those words. So I will call someone. I'm calling wrapping services around my children. I want those who are in college, those who are in high school, who could come and help me in certain areas. And also, if you have, you can get your community service hours, whatever you can get for however way it fits you, but looking for volunteers to help out. So no one can come in and tell me how I have to be with my children. These are my children.
Wow, this. I just want to thank you, ladies, for coming in.
Can I read something right quick that Kenny Ransom? Kenny Ransom just said, "Y'all hitting on topics and issues that everyone knows and needs to hear. Y'all have no idea how many are watching that wants to chime in but are not. But we'll talk about it at work and school tomorrow."
Awesome.
That's what's up. That's
get the conversation.
Kenny Ransom.
That's the goal to get the conversation started. And I'm not encouraging anyone, drop everything and go start homeschooling. Like I said, it's what works for you and what works for my children. And this is a season in their life where they need close attention paid to them and their confidence. I don't need my young men, my young black boys feeling insecure about themselves.
Now, typically you go from kindergarten to 12th grade and then you get a diploma, and that diploma can get you into college, however it works. Now, homeschooling, it's totally different from that, correct?
No, absolutely
No,
it's
not
not.
at
You
all.
can do the same thing. You can take the SATs. You can do, actually, I can working with, well, this year we're working with SAT words now. They're in kindergarten. I don't have the limits that you have in a school setting. Like if my daughter, she's in kindergarten, you want her to read, oh, you're a kindergarten reader, that's it. No, we go until she say she can't go anymore. And then we push a little bit more. So she can be in kindergarten reading on a 3rd grade level, and I don't stop her because she's a kindergartner. So that's why we did away with grades and all that other stuff. You go. If you better than you were yesterday, you're winning. You're doing great. Or how will you resolve that issue? So no, it's not. They can go on. Look up the Bush family. It's a family called the Bush family, not the President Bush. These young women graduated, walked across the stage to get her college bachelor's degree. And then the following week, she went and got her high school diploma. Meaning she was working both of them simultaneously. And this is something we're allowed to do in Florida. They're both now, they're
So there's
21.
no levels to how you obtain
No.
your education.
No, we limit ourselves.
And again,
Wow.
we do it to ourselves as well when it comes down to, if you notice, a lot of African Americans, when they start getting degrees, then they feel like they're better. But I always say that, they feel like, but I always tell them that doesn't make you smarter than me. That just made your path was different than mine.
Right.
You know, and so, again, there's a lot to it. All you have to do is pretty much, again, is research. Like you said, you have to really research, because if you have someone that's home with a bachelor, it's easily to tap into homeschooling your child, whether it's your daughter or your son. And also, again, that money's follow them. There's a different type of setup, where I'm the opposite, where I would love to homeschool my son at this time, but unfortunately that's not my schedule, because I'm out here trying to make sure that we break this cycle of the schools to the pipeline.
Yes.
So I'm
Through
out
the
here
prison
advocating for children with special
I
needs.
love that.
Yes.
You're one of the people on the front line.
Yes.
She's what you call a front runner. Man.
Yes.
She's no joke.
When the stones get thrown, they hit us first. We got the right people up here. The stones hit us first. I like that.
I didn't know I was gonna get this tonight.
Yo, that's crazy,
I didn't know I
man.
was
And you
gonna
got Rob. You got people saying best show ever. I don't know if it's because of your new host or your
no doubt. It's a new host.
I don't know if it's because it's the guest that we have.
I think it's collectively. I think it's collective.
They love it collectively. They love how we articulate in the studio what needs to be heard.
I have a question. I don't want this to sound funny. Should my daughter be scared if she has to go to Hill House?
No.
Absolutely not.
No?
Now, there's so much greatness that come out of Hill House.
Right.
That is,
Really?
everyone is an individual, and we have these ideas.
There are some good people inside Hill House. Let me
Yes.
tell you something.
And you're educating her.
It starts at home.
So
Exactly. The schools is what you make of it. If you are involved, then there's you'll see a difference in your child. If you're not involved, then you're gonna reap that. You get what I'm saying? It's what you value.
Yo, it's what you value. And
You know what? If you're hands on,
you know what? I don't want to cut you. I hate to cut you off, Eve, before I forget. You're absolutely right, because my daughter went through this. We went through this transition when she was going through the public schools. They was calling me because she was, instigating fights. We looking at text messages where they meeting up So we took her from that. Then she went to another. She went to another school, which was Wintergreen out in Hamden, and it changed her life. You know why? Because they made me involved. I told them, I said, look, I work for myself. I'm 10 minutes from anywhere you need me to be.
Right.
Call me and I'll be here. Anything I got to do with my daughter, call me. So when they realized they had that kind of access, every time it was an inclination of her about to get in trouble, they got me on it. I was there. So with that kind of access of being in a more structured environment, it allowed them to have hands-on with her and call me, and so I was there 2.2. So from there, she went to Metro. She went to
Metro. That's a good school for business. Yes.
Metro conditioned my daughter because it's a smaller school. It's not so big.
That's what
Everybody
some
was
kids
pushing
need.
each other. Wasn't
Yes.
nobody allowing each other. So when she started getting mixed up with the wrong people, they called
Come
me.
on
They
in.
said, Whitaker, we seen your daughter interacting with the wrong people. I'm like, what? So I go down there, but I was on everything. And now she in college, just finished her first year.
Congratulations.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm proud because I never had the college experience. I never, so to see her, actually finishing her first semester, going through the transition stage where it was rough, she was ready to quit, but she, that whole thing you go through. So, I'm not an advocate for. I'm an advocate for education,
Right.
but I'm not an advocate for the system.
Right. Well, the system
It's
is
a
not
difference.
created with you in mind.
So
it's not created with you in mind.
You know,
so.
kudos to everybody because, like you said, it starts at home, people.
And pay attention to your community. I would like to say that.
Yeah,
You looking
have
at
a
the
conversation with your kids. A lot of things that are happening to our children is because we're not communicating with them.
Because we
We're
don't
not
sit
checking
down
in.
at the dinner table with our children
Or are we always
and talk to our children.
Or they always telling them to be quiet.
Drop 5 bombs on us. 5?
Shut up.
5.
Be quiet and shut up.
Listen to me.
And-
Where the camera at? Look in my eyes. Turn the TVs off. Put the phones down. Turn them around. Sit at the table with your plate, with your kids. Don't everybody go to their own flat screen in the house.
That's what
Sit
we
at
don't
the
have
table
TVs.
and talk to your children. You'll be surprised at what they got to say about what happened in school and about how they feel about you, not showing them any attention. Turn off the devices and talk to your children, man. You'll be surprised.
Or one better, that ride in the car when you're
Yes.
getting them.
When you got the music
gotta
where they
pick it.
listening to
Yeah, you cut the radio off and
Smoking
say,
them
hey,
weed like a cockpot. Sipping them weed in them. That's what they hearing all. You're not even talking to your kids.
And it
Talk
will be,
to
it
your
will-
children.
it will
just
be-
ask them.
it will
You'll be
awkward
surprised.
at first.
You'll be surprised.
Not all the time, but I
just
wanna
say,
encourage.
Hey, how listen? How was your day? What's going on? Let me tell you what I did to my kids. I to this day it works very. I got that phone call. They're like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, I got that call.
I always
What
do that.
call?
I'm trying to pick them.
You
I'm trying to
you
pick
know,
them.
and before you
About
know
that
it,
incident you had in school today.
or
Or last week that you didn't tell me about.
And then before you know it,
Ma, they called you?
Yeah,
I thought we
But
worked
you
that
see
out.
what happened
See, you
was
didn't even tell me. See, that's called picking them out. I pick them. I do that
do it
all
all
the
the
time.
time.
I do that too.
I'm telling you.
You have to pick your children, man.
What a
why
dirty
would
damn trick. Hey,
You gotta do it. It's called reverse psychology.
Listen, you know why
I was gonna finish it after I did.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't even know you didn't finish it.
Yes.
I do that. See, me and you, we cut from the same cloth.
I do that all the time, and I didn't get not one phone call from this school.
Yo, that's
But
facts.
you prevented it. You were.
Right.
You were.
Exactly.
Yo, and another thing,
proactive.
on that note, while we talking about that, where the camera at? Look at my eyes, people.
He got a phone call.
Children have no privacy underneath your roof.
None.
There's no such thing as my room. There's no such thing as my room. You can't lock no doors or slam no door. If I walk by your door and that knob lock and I can't open the door, I'm breaking it down. You ain't gonna have no door. Come home and shake your kids' rooms up, people. Tear their room up like a damn prison search.
And put
Go to their
some-
room and shake it down. You'll be surprised what you find in there.
And put some time limit on Fortnite.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
I'm sorry,
put some.
What is
put some-
Fortnite?
What is Fortnite?
What is Fortnite?
Oh, that's this
You
new game
definitely
that
new
these
game.
kids on PS4 that they're playing and they're becoming addicted to.
It's a
You know,
birthday,
you
yeah.
got my son knows the PS4 is not played Monday through Friday.
Weekends only.
Hold on. Wait, I just want to say
Weekends
something.
only.
In all defense,
It's not.
I'm not. I don't want to toot
It
my
has
own
to be
horn,
limited. It
Even
has
though
to
you know,
be.
my son don't even own a PlayStation or. I'm trying to keep it that way. I know.
Well, that was a gift from his grandmother.
No, I
So
understand.
you know, I'm just saying
I
that
understand,
we still.
but it's a time. Like even if he do
Listen,
get one, I know eventually he's gonna have
Xfinity,
one.
How old is he?
My
Xfinity,
son, he's 7.
Comcast.
Doesn't even
Oh
own
no,
one.
this is my
We
13.
didn't either until later on.
Comcast has this new thing now
Don't even
that
know.
parents don't even know. Well, some may know, some may not. You can literally now shut off the internet,
Wi-Fi. Yep.
to
Oh yeah, it's
their
called,
system.
It's called. You can shut it down from.
We got a caller.
Hold on, let's get this call.
We got a caller. Caller, express yourself.
Yeah, what's good, everybody?
What's good? We got a brother calling for the first time tonight.
No, second time.
Oh yeah, second time. Okay, so
Okay.
now all females.
Talk to us, baby.
Man, this Little Rob. What's up?
Oh, this is my.
That's your son, man.
That's the son.
Hold on.
He called his daddy.
He's 29. This ain't for you. He's 29 years old.
Yeah.
Yo, what's? Hello, Rob.
What's going on, Dad? How you doing today?
I'm super, yo.
Nah, I'm watching the show, man.
Wow.
I'm glad I tuned in today. I was, the gym, came home, like we tuned in, see what everything what was going on.
Okay.
I learned a lot of stuff today.
Yeah, definitely, because we got to talk, because we learned a lot tonight, and we might need to connect with these ladies for Little Man, you feel me?
And Mike, we gonna connect with these ladies.
No doubt, no doubt.
Talking to the kids, like every time I pick up my son, and Dad, this, just the way, and I learned that from you, just talking to him every time we get in the car and
every time
making sure everything's situated in school and having a connection with his teachers and everything like that. And I know y'all got a lot of old heads calling, so I wanted to get some, had a young father's calling.
That's what's up. That's what's up, young
show.
Rob.
You gotta drop a bomb for that one.
I got something I got to say real quick for my son. We met up downtown the other day. So we was having a conversation, and he told me that he's been. Let me get the ladies up here too, because I want to see the expression on their face when I drop this shit I'm about to say. We was talking, so we was chopping it up. So he told me he's been knocking the chicks down since about 14 or 15.
Oh my God.
I wanted to slap the shit. I wanted to smack his head. I was so distraught. I just didn't know what the fuck. I was like, what? He's like, oh yeah, but I didn't know. But I had to base it on. I learned it from you, Dad. That type. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But what I will say is, when me and him made the connection, I was just coming home from 8 years, from doing 8 years.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact.
And he was little. And he was in a particular part of town where he could have easily embraced the lifestyle and revolved through them same doors that I did, but he didn't. So with that being said, I'm grateful to him.
That's what's up.
You know what I'm saying? Because the situation, I came home, I'm home,
Right.
I have nothing. I have nothing for him. I was afraid of him.
Right.
He was when I left, he wasn't a year old yet. When I got home, he was 8.
Right.
So I didn't understand. Yo, what am I gonna do with my man right here? He's living in a fucked up part of town.
Right.
And it was right there for him.
Wow.
The lifestyle was right there.
And he didn't conform
But you
to
know
the way.
what?
He didn't conform to it.
And the crazy, the good thing about that is too, when he got out of jail, he embraced the fatherhood right away. So it wasn't taking no time. He was in the school and everything.
Right.
I know it's just talking about the schools and all that, but he ain't take no time to be like, yo, listen, I'm gonna get back on my feet first, then I'm gonna be around you. Like, I mean, I don't know, I'm 8, so I only see what I see, but just seeing, I remember him being involved immediately, like not even taking no break. So,
But see, he just gave us an example of
making sure my son straight
how we learn from
it's the
each
same
other.
thing.
No doubt, we're gonna do it together, Rob.
That's a fact, But we definitely gonna link up with the ladies.
You look at somebody.
Yeah, we gotta link up with these ladies because these ladies are important.
Somebody say, I don't want to walk that path. I want to walk the next one.
I apologize for that, but when she was talking about like taking the kids to the grocery store and learning, like it's been times I've been in class and I'm sure a lot of younger people feel the same way. Y'all probably feel the same way, and they throwing a whole bunch of math questions. I'm not using this in the grocery store. What is we talking about?
Yeah,
so you know what I'm saying? So
that's real.
I mean, there's a lot of things that we learned today, and I'm glad I tuned in, definitely.
No doubt, Rob.
Thanks for calling,
But y'all
Rob.
doing what y'all doing, drive home safe and wet out there. So I love y'all.
I love you,
What's
man.
up, huh?
All right, definitely.
All right, Rob.
Yo, that go to show you, Ben, how important it is to have that foundation. I never had a father, so I could kind of understand what he was going through by being in there, and you got a little man, and you just missing out on years of his life. It's just like he ain't been there for them 7 years. I was there every day of my child's life since they've been born, so I couldn't even imagine not being there for my kids. Like, so I can't even imagine or fathom what you was going through in there, bro. That's why when you came home and you hit the ground, you hit it 100 miles an hour, trying to just be better for your children, man. That's what it's about, man. It's about correcting our wrongs.
Value.
And valuing.
I think tonight, key word.
That's
word of the night.
Drop the bomb on that
value.
Word, value. Express yourself.
Hi, Rob.
Hi.
Hey, Cord. How are you guys?
Hi.
You said hi, Rob,
Hi,
so we.
This is Christina Elliott. I was actually trying to talk to the sister in the middle. I don't know her name. I got on late because it's Ramadan, so I didn't get home till late, but I had to jump on here and listen to the show tonight.
Ife.
But I had asked you a question, and I don't know because I was up there too, so I know it's so hard to miss the question. But I did see that I totally understand about saying that you don't have any with white women. But
wait.
my question for you was,
you cut out.
Because
we didn't hear what you said.
You cut out a little bit. Can you go back again?
Oh, I'm sorry. I said I asked the question, but I didn't know if you saw it or not. And I realized that I understand that you said that you don't have any white friends. So my question more was, do you not have any white friends because you haven't opened up and like tried and given the opportunity to have a white friend and you just don't want to be bothered, or is it something different?
No, it's just that I'm very picky about who I have in my circle, and I just haven't ran across a white person that fits in my circle yet.
Okay.
It's nothing.
And have you
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No.
I want to listen to you.
No, go ahead.
Because I noticed that you said, so as soon as the question was asked, the two, Majesty and the other sister, she said immediately, yes.
Yes.
And then as soon as you said something, the other sister, to me, it just seemed like she was kind of embarrassed that she said yes. And then she turned it around and said, I actually don't have white friends. They're like associates.
Exactly. No, because we determine. It's not to cut you off, because it's kind of like as if I was playing follow the leader or being embarrassed. As you can tell by the complexion of my skin, I'm very, very well mixed, and I'm not made up of all black. So being ashamed of having white friends is definitely not an issue at all. It's I'm not ashamed of having white. I just don't have any, because the terminology friend, I've used it loosely for so long. I have a lot of amazing, I can't even say a group of white. I associate with everyone. I don't have anyone that I will call my friend. When she gave the definition of what she said friend is, I agree with her. I don't have anyone that I feel will lay down their life for me. If we go into friendship, my friends are ones that I grew up with. However, it doesn't mean I don't have a great time with white associates. And I mean, I'm not really into the color white, black thing or what have you. I rock with people, period. But ashamed, never that. As far as having a white friend, no, I don't. Am I opposed to it? Absolutely not. But right now, I just don't. When she gave the definition of friend. So no, I'm not following behind, because I'm one of those people where other people eat, don't make me, so.
Feces?
Yeah, so it's not a following. It definitely wasn't it wasn't anything embarrassing for me at all.
And then we definitely don't want to make this
about a black and white
a race thing, because that's a whole nother topic, and that brings out a whole nother beast.
I absolutely did not want to make it about race. My intentions from saying that was just to get a clarity to ask.
Okay. Did you get it?
It wasn't more like, it wasn't race baiting. I was more like curious because I want to know, because I grew up in New Haven. I grew up like, I didn't even have white friends growing up because there wasn't any white people.
Now,
so I was curious to know, like, was it a personal like feeling, or like did you just?
Is this Queen? Is this Queen Moore?
So I appreciate you.
Well, let me just.
Can I ask a question?
I can't even say that. My mom always told me when I was growing up that you will be lucky if you die with one loyal friend, and it doesn't necessarily have to mean if they're black or white.
Yeah,
so
but they just have not crossed my path.
Right?
Yeah, they just haven't.
It
just haven't crossed my path. You know, I'm a very picky person, and not everyone get the pleasure of me calling them friend, because what I know as the definition of friend, my mother told me the only best friend I really have is myself, because I would never tell on myself. I would. It's like the value that I grew up on around those terms. I even teach my children when my son comes home and say, "Hey, my friend," I said, "Your friend," because again, we need to really understand what the definition of friend really means.
Right. Houdini put it the best. Houdini said it best.
That you say that, because my daughter, I tell her that every day. always calling her these
New
little
friend.
kids' friends. And we're in West Haven, and it's absolutely ridiculous that she's in elementary school, and they're bullying and gossiping and drama and
And she calling them friend, probably, right?
And that's not a definition of
She's
a
already
friend.
having issues with back talking and backbiting and gossip and all that in third grade. And I try to explain to her all the time, these are not your friends. Your
Exactly.
friends do not make you feel bad.
Exactly.
Your
And that's
do not make you cry.
That's right.
Yeah,
You know, and I think that's one of the biggest issues. And I just wanted to go back onto what you guys were talking about with the whole school thing.
Yes.
I love the idea of homeschool. Like, if I can homeschool and I had the first of all, if I had
Support.
the patience to homeschool, I definitely would. But homeschool is absolutely where it's at. You know, a lot of these parents today, what they tend to do is shove the kids off to school and allow the system
Right.
to teach our children
It's a
Raise
daycare.
them.
It's a
what
daycare.
history is.
Right.
And
then,
they
and
pick
then they're
and
teaching our
choose.
kids the wrong history. They're not even
Yeah.
teaching our kids the right
Right.
history.
You can't even talk about Black history in school after February. They
But-
kick you out the class.
But
Oh,
Christina,
no,
what I
they
would
don't
like,
even know what Black history is.
No.
They don't know what it is. And then I hate the fact, you know, and I think I would still feel the same way if my kids weren't half Black. I do not like the fact that in schools they are training the young Black children to feel that the Black people, their start is at slavery. No,
right,
the fuck
when it was
it's not.
greatness was
It
before
didn't
then.
start at slavery.
That's real.
Right.
Yes.
Black people's history does not start at
they
slavery.
started at
You know,
queens and kings.
That's right.
Yes.
And
exactly.
they own slaves.
You know,
White
obviously
slaves.
not
We
all
had
Black people are
indentured
kings and
servants.
queens because they have peasants and people that live there and people they have to go over. So I totally understand that. But it's the fact that we're not teaching our children that. All we're putting in our kids' minds, and it's not just the school system. The parents are ignorant to it too, because
That's right.
they're not teaching their kids that either.
That's
they're,
the problem.
They're just instilling in them the white man had you in slavery. The white man had you in slavery. Okay, I'm not saying, I will never say
Someone
forget
trying
that.
to call.
Teach your kids that, but
Right.
also teach them everything else.
You're
Don't
absolutely
just
right.
teach
May I-
them about
Christina-
hating the white man because of this, and this. Teach them about everything else and where they came from. Because if you keep giving them that negative input in their mind, that they're not going to perish. I mean, they're not going to flourish. You know what I mean?
Well, can I challenge you here? When I say challenge, I mean in a healthy way. Because you have this education, you have this knowledge of being king and queens before there was slavery. Even if you're not going out to the school itself to make that statement, and your daughter or your children have people that they're connected with in school, when you get people in your environment, that is an opportunity for you to teach exactly what you're sharing here. So, like she said, we don't have to touch 1,000 of people here on this show. You can touch one, and that one can touch millions. So that knowledge that you do have, even because I hear your frustration in your voice regarding that matter, you can start with teaching because you're educated, pour it into your children, and as your children, they will begin to affect those that's around them. And it's not so much of what you say, is how you say it and how you deliver it.
Listen, I'm that person that will start talking to you and Stop and Shop and immediately go into important topics. Like I talk on my Facebook, I talk to my friend, I have older children, I talk to their kids.
Right.
And people, just random people I start talking to enlighten them. Because that's the only way we're going to get better as people. Because at the end of the day, regardless of the race that's going on, we are people. God says love thy neighbor, and we're neighbors. Regardless of what color you are, we're neighbors.
But the
So let's
reality
start
is,
loving each
not to
other.
get off of that, not even to go too
But
much.
see,
in it,
we
the
gotta
reality,
be.
I'm sorry.
We have to be careful of that because you
Yes.
know why. And I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree. However, we have to first love our own
Ourselves.
selves,
And our people.
and that's the problem. We're quick to love others, other races, but we have a problem when it comes down to us.
Yes.
We're the only ethnic group that always claim everybody else.
Yes.
When you can meet someone who never been to Italy, nothing about the whole, the Italian, whether it's, paisan or so forth. But, the first thing they'll tell you is, hey, I'm Italian. the Chinese, China, Asian person, never been to Asia, would just strictly say, okay, I'm Asian, and vice versa, other ethnic group. When it comes down to African American, oh, we have Cherokee, we have white, we have this, we have, like, we claim everything else. And I'm not saying that we all are mutts, no matter where you come from. We all are mutts, race, right? But the problem is we have a problem with connecting with each other just as being black. You know, if we could just do that first, I mean, imagine how far we can go as a race.
That's a Snapple top fact right there.
Right, because we become ashamed. We become
I mean,
ashamed.
You can just. I totally agree with what you said, and just the proof in what you said is look at Black Panther. Look how much Black Panther made. He made more than any other movie there is.
Well,
because
before
the Black
Black
people
Panther,
came together
there was
and
Tulsa,
they wanted
Oklahoma.
to go see that movie.
Right.
So look at what. I mean, I wish that everybody can have the same mentality that you have, and they can come together as a people, because I would love to see it. I would personally be one of the love to see it and see how it plays out, because there's so much intelligence and love and caring in culture, like just the culture, just people that can appreciate the culture. But you have to look at it on the other standpoint. Look at all the people that are sitting there and keep watching these videos and showing these videos of, you know, the kids. I just watched another video. This girl's getting beat up in school, you know, being bullied and beat up, and nobody's saying nothing. You know, so it's just, these are things that we have to, and like I said, there was did you guys see that video? And I think that's what this show was even about. The white lady that called up on the
barbecue.
The Yale student.
Oh, the Yale student. Oh,
so when I posted on my page, my Facebook page about that, and I explained the white woman that recorded that video. That's what other people need to start doing. Step up to the damn plate and open your mouth when you see it. See wrong, open your mouth. Stop being quiet to it. And that doesn't goes with everything. If you see somebody getting beat up, somebody just got beat up on the boulevard the other day. There was at least 30 people out there watching this young girl get jumped. 30 people. And not one person stopped and helped this young lady. She was in the video saying, please, sir, can you get my car? You know damn well she was trying to say, please, can you help me? And not one person helped her. How can we, you know what I mean? Not one person. So we have people, and I'm saying, like, all of us people in general, where the hell is our humanity at? You understand what I'm saying? Like, where the frig is the humanity? It's just sickening. But I'm definitely going to go back over and listen to the whole show, because Rob is amazing. So I'm pretty sure the rest of the show is amazing.
Yes, you missed a really great part of it.
And I hope you guys come back up here again.
Thank you for calling in.
All right.
It's not that. I just have issues with my facial expression, Luca.
Oh, somebody said you wasn't.
I'm just, no. It's the way
she is a great person, though.
Yeah.
No, her information. She got clarity before going forth in information. I'm glad that she. I'm glad that she clarify. You know.
And I have babies that I have to get home too.
Yeah, we're gonna get ready to wrap this up. My man Danny wanted to call in, but he's I guess he got frustrated. So maybe next time. Yo, we want to thank everybody for watching. Before we go, can each one of y'all just leave? They're probably a lot of people are texting me like they want to reach out to you guys.
Okay, because
my inbox. Ife, you definitely are incredible.
So go around the room. Ife, leave your information for people that possibly want to get in contact with you. State your name, give them your information.
Okay, my name is Njije Ife Tawi. I actually have my page for as far as special education goes, those different things I was talking about far as disabilities and so forth. It's called OB, which is OBI, Collaborative Advocate Inc. Also, if you're in a New Haven public school system, you can check us out, Citywide Parent Team. We have a group as well as a page. So there's any information far as the school system goes, you can definitely connect with us on that page. And far as anything else, you can connect with me on my page. Well, my page is private, so you have to inbox me, and or you can check me out on OB Collaborative Advocate Inc.'s
Thank you, Eve.
information. Yeah.
Okay. Danae Bennett on Facebook. You can reach me. It has an SE as a logo. It's 2 Danae Bennett's up there. Unfortunately, I couldn't get rid of the other page, but mine has a SE logo that's on it for my company, Simply Unique, which is a jewelry company. At home, Homeschool Mom, as you guys know. And if you have any questions, any information that you may need from me, please inbox me. If I can help you, I will. If I'm not able to help you, I can get you to someone who can assist you.
And guys, we just want to thank you guys. Thank all our viewers for watching, for calling in, for listening to this positive feedback. This is just one of many topics that we will be discussing. We will be facing. We will be going at people in the community. We will be digging the dirt up. We're not scratching surfaces anymore. We're ruffling feathers, and we're bringing awareness.
Yes.
That's what we're doing. So we hope to see you guys next week. Take care. We love you guys. Thank you for watching the War Report. Rob.
Peace. We out, baby. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next week. We coming with some stuff. Thank you, everybody. Good night. Peace out.
Good night.
Good night.
I got a freaky flow.